This is a short guide on Zoom video conferencing. It will include classroom etiquette, features, and tips and tricks. Our classroom is a safe space where everyone should feel safe to share. Respect ideas and never share information from class, just like you would in the regular classroom. Let's start with classroom etiquette. When it comes to a Zoom conference, this is our virtual classroom. Appropriate classroom behavior is expected. Be sure to log into your meeting in a distraction-free and quiet environment. Don't rename yourself. Attendance needs to be taken, so no using silly names. Be sure to mute your audio as soon as you get into a conference. This helps eliminate background noise. In order to speak, you can press and hold the spacebar, which will unmute you until you release the spacebar. Make sure your video is turned on so we can see you. Be sure to be on time. Be prepared with your computer, pencil and paper, and arrive at least 5 minutes early. Now on to just a couple of the many features in Zoom. If your connection is unstable, stopping the video might help. If you'd like to add a comment and speak in the conference, simply raise your hand or use the raise hand feature, which you can find on the bottom center of your Zoom screen. You can also use chat to post questions and comments silently. The chat features can be found at the bottom center of the screen. Be aware video and chats are recorded. If it's not appropriate in class, it's not appropriate online. Finally, a few tips and tricks. Be sure to have pencil and paper handy to take notes or jot down thoughts or questions you might want to ask before the meeting is over. Using a headset with an external mic offers the best audio. Let others know you're finished speaking by saying, "That's all," "I'm done," or "Thank you." It helps to give a thumbs up if your question has been answered. Beware of lighting. If a light source is behind you, say a window or a light, it can make you appear in darkness and very difficult to see you or your expressions. If you follow just these few suggestions, Zoom conferences will be a terrific experience for everyone.
Our ever-loving Father, the core of every reason, the source of truth. You who made the earth and the heavens are the ultimate goal of every knowledge seekers, the infinite wisdom, the cause of all that is good. We are truly grateful for this opportunity to gather together as a community despite the challenges we face each day. Yet you remained and gave us strength to carry on the responsibilities of bearing intelligence and using them for better purposes. We now humbly ask you to join us in our endeavor to explore the wonders of life in the world for knowledge's sake, that in whatever we learn today, we become more grounded to you, who is truth, who is love. We pray that you bless our speakers, the fount of your infinite knowledge, that they can share something worthwhile despite the limited time we have. They can channel all they know and share to us the beauty and truth of living as your child. We pray that you guide our participants, the seekers of your boundless knowledge, that they may continue to persevere in the search and be deemed worthy to share what they learn from today's session. Sanctify us, O Lord, not because we are worthy of it, but because we believe in your love and mercy, that at the end of the day, we can take home something that's amazing and meaningful. This we ask and pray through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Tayo nang tumayo at ilagay ang kanang kamay sa dibdib at sabay-sabay nating awitin ang pambansang awit ng Republika ng Pilipinas.
Bayang madilim, pelas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiging, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisihin. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong butaw, may nilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislat ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagninig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di maninig. Lupa ng araw ng buwan at ipagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo. Mabuhay ka, O BiPSU, alma mater din, and believe us pride, a whole SOGIE. We hold your name, hold close to our hearts, and we voice for your honor, to show we're not smart. Cause we know the truth, learn your virtue and live your spirit. Oh, BiPSU. From place to place we follow trace, in search of life and values true. And God whose guidance never fails has made you our home, oh BiPSU. In faith and love you've taken us in to learn the arts and technical skills. The values gain from the horse you gain, we embody them all through bravery. Unity, gold and blue you shine, alma mater here. Solidarity will function by unity, bonded by love and service without fear. Now we are one family, to God we pray. And you be blessings, power to commit and faith to your name. We live on promise, state university.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the day 2 of our student onboarding with the new academic year of 2021 to 2022. Good morning also to our visionary university president, Dr. Victor Caniazo Jr., To our humble and performing Dean of the School of Technology and Computer Studies, Dr. Chana Bernal Sabinay. To our three equally active chairpersons, Dr. Julie Lopez for the BSIT program, Mrs. Cheryl Ibaho for the BSIS program, and Reynold Bustillo for the BSCS program. To our brilliant resource speakers today, good morning, and most especially to our dear students who are joining us at Zoom and watching through Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Good morning, everyone. So I guess we are all set and ready for today's program. And to formally start, let us all welcome our humble and performing Dean, Dr. Jonna B. Sabinay, for the welcome remarks.
Thank you, Ms. Joy. Can you...
Ma'am Chana, are you there? Hello, Ma'am Chana. We can't hear you po, ma'am.
Hello, Ma'am Joy. Sorry, we
Yes.
got this office. We transferred to another connection. Thank you again, Ms. Joy. Dr. Victor Canieso Jr., our goal-driven and visionary university president. Dr. Susan S. Bintor, VP for Academic Affairs. Dr. Erwin Salvachera, VP for Students and External Affairs. And Dr. Marian Mendoza, VP for our Research, Innovation, and Extension Services. Our esteemed resource speakers for today's webinar, STCS faculty members, our dearest students, especially the freshies who are very excited for the start of the semester, maayong buntag. Our educational system has been disrupted for nearly 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And it is clear that we BiPSU-nistas are not only surviving, but thriving in this new normal. As we start this school year on Monday, October 11, we will be as one with our mantra that no one should be left behind. But may I remind also to our students that we will not, shall I say, misconstrue this mantra. Do your share in weaving worthiness to continue thriving during these days. Thus, we conducted this webinar to orient our students and faculty to the different educational technologies that we can utilize in this new normal, aside from our BiPSU LMS, and be gender responsive as well. One thing we will assure you, we will reach out and we will find ways to continue the delivery of our educational services. Once again, thank you, STCS faculty, for an excellent job since yesterday. And to our STCS students for the support in attending our activities. I welcome you all to this webinar, and may you find this helpful in your future endeavors. Once again, good morning.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Chona, and thank you so much for that very warm welcome. Also, we are thankful that you are very hands-on in making this activity a success. Thank you, everyone. And at this juncture, to introduce us to our first resource speaker, we have the head Gender Research Administrative and Support Services, Mr. Fernando E. Quiroz.
Hello, Ma'am Joy. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. May I have the honor to present to you our resource speaker for this morning session. Our resource speaker is the Principal Consultant and Managing Director of AdGender PH Institute and is a member of the National Gender and Development Resource Pool of the Philippine Commission on Women. He served as subject matter expert on gender equity, SOGIE and sexuality, and diversity and social inclusion to about 100 national and local government agencies and private companies. He is an international gender expert at the Inclusive Societies, a social consulting enterprise in the United States, and was the former gender consultant of the World Health Organization Philippines, Department of Health Central Office, Credit Information Corporation, and JH Priego Philippines. He serves as the gender consultant of the National Kidney and Transplant Institute, Lung Center of the Philippines, and the gender audit consultant of the National Youth Commission. He is the Solidarity Partnerships lead and the Southeast Asia Circle co-lead of the International Society of Gender Professionals, a regular member of the Research Committee on Women, Gender and Society at the International Sociological Association, and one of the founders of the Philippine Society of Sexual and Reproductive Health Nurses. He was a science research specialist at the University of the Philippines, Manila. He holds a master's degree on health social science at the De La Salle University, a registered nurse, a certified learning and development professional of the American National Standards Institute, a certified Six Sigma professional, and took advanced gender and D&I courses at the UN Women, WHO, UNICEF, Johns Hopkins University, University of Pittsburgh, and the University of the Philippines Center for Women's and Gender Studies. In 2021, he was recognized at the World Education Leaders Summit in New Delhi, India, as an outstanding leader in the field of adult learning and the first recipient of the most outstanding gender equality, diversity, and social inclusion professional of the Asia Pacific Luminaire Award. Ladies and gentlemen, help me in welcoming and let us give a warm virtual applause to our resource speaker, Mr. Alvin Cloyd Dakis. Sir?
Good morning, may buntag sa inyong tanan. Ayan,
May
magandang umaga
buntag,
sa inyong
sir.
lahat. Ayan. And thank you for that warm introduction. All right, so let's just pull my screen for today. I'm requested to talk about one of the most requested topics actually ng iba't ibang mga institutions. Dahil isa ito sa mga kumbaga emerging, hindi pa to bago pero marami na pong mga interested to actually knowing about STCS is about. Ano ba talaga ang sexual orientation, gender identity, ano pagkakaiba ng mga terms na yan, and ano yung mga bago dito sa mga terminologies na ito. And then, ano din yung mga issues that are also arising in this very interesting topic. Okay, so let me just show to you the objectives for today. Objectives for today are for us to understand the basic concepts on sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, and sexual characteristics, and for us to enumerate different examples of biases and discrimination against people with diverse SOGIE, or otherwise we call that the gender diverse people. Okay? And ito po yung nag-exclude sa kanila sa pag-a-access sa rights, opportunities, and benefits, and to appreciate gender equality and gender equity with diversity and social inclusion. And how are we going to apply it with our own agency? I mean, that means our school, in our own families, in our workplaces, in our programs, in our systems, and in our culture. So before we proceed to the main topic, meron muna tayong perception check. So sa inyong mga chat box, gusto kong sumagot kayo ng tanong na ito. The question is, ang SOGIE ay para lamang sa mga lesbians, gays, bisexuals, at transgender persons. True or false? Makita natin may false sagot. How about the others? Okay, maraming false. Ayan. Puro false ang sagot. Wala pa nag-true. Pwede bang trolls? Kalahati. False ang sagot ng mga tao. Alright. So the answer to this is, ang SOGIE ay para sa lahat. So dahil ang kababaihan at kalalakihan at ang mga tarian kasama dito sa SOGIE. Lahat tayo meron yan. Mamaya maintindihan nyo kung bakit lahat tayo merong SOGIE. So ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng SOGIE na yan at bakit lahat tayo ay meron yun? Ano ang mga components nito ng ating personality? Next item. Ang mga lesbians, gays, bisexuals, at transgender persons ay tanggap dito sa Pilipinas. True or false? But trick question. Ang sagot natin dito. Tanggap nga po ba talaga ang LGBT sa Philippines? Ayan, meron din, naghahati na yung mga tao. Meron ng sagot na true, meron ng ibang mga false. Ayan. Maraming sumasagot na ng true. Mga false daw. Not all, but yes. Wow. Meron pang may qualifier. Sige. Ayan, tingnan natin kung ano ang ibig sabihin ng operative word na tanggap. Diba? Ayon sa pag-aaral, ang mga LGBTQIA dito sa Philippines ay tolerated lamang sa Pilipinas at hindi po sila tunay na tanggap. So tolerated ni Professor Mike Tan, na hindi po ito talaga kumbaga the real acceptance. Kasi pag tingnan pa natin yan sa batas, pag tinignan po natin yan sa mga equality of benefits and equality in the law, hindi po talaga siya tanggap. Hindi siya equal. Meron siyang kulang or meron siyang hindi nakukuha ng ibang mga tao. To marriage, having children, yung having legal spouses, so wala po yun. And also yung mga pag-declare ng mutual properties, wala po yan. So hindi po yan declare, hindi po yan legal. Also hindi rin po legal dito yung yung gender identity sa Philippines. Hindi po siya ginagamit as a basis para sundin ang kanilang identity. Kundi ang sinusunod pa rin natin is kung ano sex, kung ano po yung meron sila nung pinanganak sila. Kaya nakita po natin na in this context, hindi po talaga tunay na tanggap. Kasi pag sabi natin tunay na tanggap, ibig sabihin nun, na-enjoy na po ng lahat ng mga LGBTQIA individuals ang mga same privileges and rights ng other Filipinos in the Philippines, in the country. Yan. Next item. Ang mga lalaking nagkakagusto sa kapwa lalaki daw ay nakakadanas ng mas mataas na pagkabalisa sa pagsunod sa lipunan ng mga male role standards nito. Mas anxious daw ang mga lalaki nagkakagusto sa kapwa lalaki dahil kailangan daw nila sumunod sa mga male role standards. True? Yan, nawala tayo. Ito yata. Alright. Balikan natin. Nakikita niyo na ulit yung, yung screen? Okay. So yung tanong ay, ang mga lalaki nagkakagusto sa kapwa lalaki ay mas nakakadanas ng mataas na pagkabalisa sa pagsunod sa lipunan sa male role standards. And sabi ng mga tao ay true. According sa pag-aaral ni Rubio at Green ng 2009, mas mataas ang porsyento ng mga nakakadanas sa pagkakabahala ng ang isang lalaki nagkakagusto sa isa pang kapwa lalaki sa pagsunod ng pamatayan ng lipunan. Mas mataas ang pressure na nararamdaman ng mga gay and bisexual men compared to the other men na hindi naman nagkakaroon ng ganong klaseng experience. So mas mataas ang standards sa kanila. Lagi natin yung maririnig sa lipunan na bakla ka nga, dapat ganito ka. No? So laging may ganyan na merong parang kataga, laging merong catchphrase na dapat pag bakla ka, dapat ka respeto ka. Dapat hindi ka nagsusot ng ganyan, dapat ganito ka. Ang daming dapat. Ang daming rules. No? So yan po yung sinasabi natin. No? Na kailangan niyang i-step up yung game niya always. But that is not the same pressure na natatanggap ng mga other men who are actually attracted to women. So yun po yung according sa study ni Rubio and Green. Next, maari mong masabi kung ang isang LGBTQ, masabi mong isang LGBTQIA ang isang tao batay sa nakikita mo sa kanyang panabasaan nyo. Sa pananalita niya, sa pananamit. Is this true? Kagaya na lang ng sinasabi ng mga tao tungkol kay Bimbi. Kay Bimbi Yap. Ako, Chris, yung anak mo bakla yan? Kasi tingnan mo yung pagkilos niya, pananamit niya, at saka pananalita niya. Sabi ng mga tao ay false. Totoo daw ba ang gaydar? yung term na gaydar, is this even true? It depends kung paninindigan niya ang kanyang kilos. False daw. Yun kung tinatago nila. Okay. This is also a possibility that there are some heterosexual men, ibig sabihin na nakakagusto sa opposite sex, pero they are feminine in how they actually act and talk. The answer is the sexual orientation and gender identity of people are not shown outside. Hindi po siya nakikita sa panlabas na kaanyuan. Ito ay nasa loob lang. However, a portion of our gender expression are affected by multiple factors, including fashion, trends, including culture, laws. Maraming nakakaapekto sa panlabas na kaanyuan natin. Okay, so ibig sabihin nun, kahit for example, when you go to school, diba? If the school wants you to wear uniform for men, but deep inside, you do not feel like you're a man, but you're a woman, you don't have any other choice but to wear a male's uniform because you are required to dahil by birth you are a male. Ibig sabihin, hindi nakikita sa panlabas na kaanyuan kung ano ang totoong ikaw. So yun po yun. Hindi sa lahat ng pagkakataon. Merong iba na nagpapakita, yes, pero hindi natin masasabi na kung ano yung nakikita natin sa panlabas, yun talaga yung reflection na nasa loob. Okay? Next. Item. Maaari kong sabihin sa ibang tao ang sexual orientation at gender identity ng taong kakilala ko. Ayan, Marites. Yung mga Marites dyan, di ba? Kinuwento, chinucho sa iba, sinabi sa iba. Uy, alam mo ba, si classmate ganito. Yan. Ayan. Ganon. Ay, talaga ba, friend? Ganon. So, can we even disclose the sexual orientation and gender identity of a one person to another person? The answer is no. Okay. How about the others? Sabi ni iba, respect, not all. No, not all. So yung iba pwede, parang ganun ba yun? Sabi niya, no. Okay. The answer to this is, ang sexual orientation at gender identity ay isang personal na impormasyon at na siya lang ang nakakaranas niyan, no? At hindi mo yan storya to tell. So tama ka sa sinabi mo, no? Na it is not our story to tell. It is their story to tell. Diba? So yung pagsasabi, no, ng storya na yan, kung ano yung kanilang identity, it's their private, kumbaga, decision if they wanted to tell it or not. Kahit ba open secret yun, pwede po bang ganon? Eh, sabi po nila, bakla daw po si Piolo Pascual. Eh, lahat naman ng mga tao sa Pilipinas makakaalam na nun. We don't care. As long as hindi po nanggaling yon sa big mismo ni Piolo Pascual, we will not say na he is gay. Kasi, hindi naman nanggaling sa kanya. Diba? So, we will have to wait, no, for the person to say na kung ano ba talaga yung kanyang sexuality. What if kung sinabi niya na hindi siya gay? Example, in the case of Bimbi Yap, sabi niya nung tinanong siya ni Chris Aquino, are you gay? And sabi niya, no, I like women. Pero effeminate siya, very effeminate yung kanyang actions, words, and all. May explanation po tayo dyan, ladies and gentlemen. Mamaya papakita ko po sa inyo kung ano yung explanation dyan. But dahil sinabi niya na he likes women, therefore he likes women, period. So you take it as it is. Because you don't want to be on the receiving end. Ayaw mo naman na ikaw naman yung pagdududahan ng mga tao sa statement mo based on your own experience and your lived lives, di ba? Next item. Ang konsepto ng LGBTQIA ay dala lamang ng mga dayuhan at wala ito sa kultura ng mga Pilipino. Di ba? Ito ay galing sa ibang bansa, galing to sa Estados Unidos, dinala lamang yun dito sa Pilipinas. Hindi talaga nag-exist dito bago pa yan. Noon pa, ngayon lang yan. So what do you think? Maybe? Okay, sagot, maybe. How about the others? Ang konsepto nga lang ba ito ay galing ba talaga sa iba? Galing ba sa dayuhan? Sabi nung isa, false. May tawa pa siya, ha, false. Hindi daw po. Okay. Hindi. Okay. Maraming nagsabing hindi, pero merong iba nagsabing not sure. Meron na yan dati. Wala nga lang pangalan. Alright. Actually, kung titingnan po natin, no, sa mga historical documents ng Pilipinas, meron na pong konsepto ang LGBTQIA, no, in the Philippines. Hindi lang siya termed as LGBTQIA. The LGBTQIA is a term that was developed in the United States. But the Philippine, the culture, the Filipinos actually have that even before the Spaniards even arrived. No? So bago pa lang sila dumating, meron na tayong konsepto niyan. Nasa mga bathaluman na natin yan. Nasa mga folklores na natin yan. And mamaya papakita ko sa inyo kung sino yung dalawang nasa folklore natin na nasa saling kwento, okay, na sila yung parang sabihin na lang natin the gay deities in the Philippines. Next item. Ang karamihan ng mga serbisyo at pasilidad dito sa Pilipinas ay limitado lamang sa mga heterosexual o yung mga nagkakagusto sa at nakikipagrelasyon sa opposite sex. Agree or disagree? Yes, agree. Okay, nag-agree daw ang mga tao. Very limited lang daw ang mga services. Okay? Ayan, yes, ang mga sagot ng mga people. The answer to this ay yes. Our current culture ay heteronormative. Ibig sabihin nito, karamihan ng mga serbisyo, pasilidad at sistema na meron po tayo sa Pilipinas ay tumutugon sa mga pangangailangan ng mga heterosexual o tinatawag na mga straight individuals. Makikita niyo yan no, sa CR, makikita niyo yan even sa pagpasok sa mall. Based talaga siya sa sex on birth, mga ganun. So lahat meron halos sa mga documents. So lahat siya ay heteronormative. Yan po yung reality sa ngayon. Is that bad? Well, it's not inclusive. We can do better. Pero yung pagiging mas inclusive, mas siguro it's going to take time. No? Unti-unti naman, nagsisimula na po, nagbabago na. It's just that hindi lang siya ganun kabilis. Lalo pat marami pang mga taong hindi nakakaintindi talaga dahil nga cultural na nga po ito. No? So, ibig sabihin, part na to ng kamalayan ng mga Pilipino na dalawa lang daw ang kasarian sa buong mundo. Kaya wala nang iba, etc. Next item. May batas sa Pilipinas na nagbabawal na mambuli at mangharas batay sa sexual orientation at gender identity ng isang bata o isang estudyante. O ito, sa eskwelahan. Meron bang batas na nagsasabi? True? Yes, meron po ba? Yes, ang sagot ng meron daw. Okay. Aware ang mga tao tungkol sa batas na ito. Very good. Nakasaad sa Anti-Bullying Act of 2013 or Republic Act 10627 ang pagbabawal o pambubuli o panghaharas ng estudyante batay sa kanyang sexual orientation at gender identity. While this is good in paper, according to documents, but the reports actually said that bullying among students based on their sexual orientation and gender identity is still high, and that many are still experiencing bullying in schools. Na hindi po ito na-check ng mga teachers, hindi po ito na-check ng mga educational systems, and that iilan lamang yung mga natutugon ng mga cases, no, when the cases are actually big. But minor cases, hindi yan nakaka-capture ng system itself. Kaya in terms of implementation, may challenges talaga yung batas na to. But matagal na po yung batas, 2013 pa lang, di ba? So ibig sabihin nun, it's already in the consciousness of the law, but the implementation, we still have a lot of challenges. Next item. Pwede ko bang tanggihan ng isang tao na makakuha ng serbisyo batay sa kanyang sexual orientation or gender identity or sa expression? Pwede ko bang sabihin na hindi ka pwedeng pumasok dito sa eskwelahan dahil ang itsura mo ay ganito. Dapat ganito lang ang itsura mo, ganito dapat ang suotin mo. Sabi ng mga estudyante, no. Mahaba. No talaga na may emphasis. Pero mapapansin po natin na maraming mga facilities at saka mga agencies ang tumatanggi sa isang tao based sa nakikita niya sa panlabas na kaanyuan. In schools, some of the students were even not allowed to graduate if they would, for example, transgender students, if they will not conform with what the schools actually said na kailangan ay mag-conform ka doon sa birth sex mo. Hindi ka na pag-graduatein. Nangyari po yun sa isang state university, pumutok yung issue na yun na media. At kung hindi pa na media, hindi pa nila pag-graduatein yung estudyanteng yun. No? Kaso na media kasi nilagay sa Facebook, pumutok yung issue. Kung hindi pa yun nalaman ng public, nako, hindi makakagraduate yung batang yun dahil lang sa mahaba yung book niya. So yan po yung sinasabi natin na meron po talagang mga ganito pang nangyayari sa loob ng eskwelahan, no, na mismo kailangan pa ng i-work out. Last item for perception check is protektado ng batas ang lahat ng Pilipino sa karahasan at diskriminasyon base sa kanilang sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression. Yes or no? True or false? Hindi daw po lahat. Sabi ng iba, yes. Okay, ano po ang sagot ng others? Yes, yes. True. Yes, ang sagot? Okay. Ang sagot sa item na ito ay iilan lang ang mga meron. Hindi po lahat. So there are only some parts of the Philippines that you are protected and the other parts are not. So if you go to one province na merong anti-discrimination ordinance, you're protected. Pero when you cross over to the other province na walang anti-discrimination ordinance, you can be discriminated. Even in Metro Manila, for example, na merong anti-discrimination ordinance, for example, Quezon City, na-discriminate pa nga si Gretchen yung isang issue na hindi siya pinapasok sa CR na transgender woman. Meron ng ordinansa yun sa Quezon City. Doon pa nga na-discriminate siya. Paano po kaya doon sa ibang mga provinces or cities na kung saan ay wala talagang ordinance na pong protekta sa'yo? Kaya sa ngayon, wala po tayong isang comprehensive law that protects LGBTQIA individuals or everyone based on their sexual orientation and gender identity from being discriminated. Meron pa talagang mga tao na pwede kang ma-discriminate. However, sa Safe Spaces Act in 2019, you can be protected from being harassed in the streets, in cyberspace, from homophobic and transphobic slurs. Mamaya explain natin kung ano yung mga attacks na yan. So meron na po doon na provision sa Safe Spaces Act. Pero hindi siya ganun ka-comprehensive kagaya ng Anti-Discrimination Bill or Anti-Discrimination Law. Na sa ngayon ay wala pa rin po tayo hanggang ngayon sa Philippines. Yan, 15% lamang sa buong Pilipinas ang meron pong anti-discrimination ordinances. So mamaya papakita natin sa inyo kung sino-sino at kung saang mga lugar ang merong protection at saan ang wala. So para alam niyo na kung saan po tayo pupunta at saan tayo hindi pupunta, mga ganun. Alright, so let's now go to the topic of understanding the gender spectrum. Ano nga bang ibig sabihin ng gender spectrum? Mamaya maintindihan natin yan dahil it's a concept. So gender spectrum, let's go first in understanding the basic concepts of sex, gender, and sexuality. Pag sinabi po nating sex, according to the Philippine Commission on Women, sex and gender, sila po yung nag-define nito. Sex is the natural distinguishing variable based on the biological characteristics of a person. It refers to the physical attributes that's pertaining to our contours, features, genitals, our hormones, genes, chromosomes, and reproductive organs. Males and females have two distinct mga reproductive organs. Okay? But they are actually, well, they're distinct, pero hindi ibig sabihin nun ay they are too alien from each other. Actually, according to biological science, yung the clitoris is the head of the penis of the males. Hindi lang siya develop na going outside. Kumbaga yun yung nangyari. At kung titingnan po natin yung clitoris at saka yung vagina at i-enclose natin siya, magiging penis talaga siya. So ganun ang itsura ng penis ng kalalakihan at saka ang vagina. So halos similar pa rin siya. Ang isa nga lang ay closed, the other one is more open. Meron siyang opening sa gitna. Pagdating natin sa mga chromosomes, women or females, mas mataas ang chromosomes nila, ang kanilang chromosomes ay XX at ang men ay XY. Pero meron pong mga studies ngayon na lumalabas that there are some individuals na meron pong mga mixed na mga chromosomes and they turn out to be normal. So therefore, in the future, pwede po natin makita the evolution of human beings having chromosomes na XY na babae at XX na lalaki. So pwede pong magkaroon ng ganon. Hindi natin masasabi in the future. Dahil ngayon pa lang, meron na pong mga developments sa genetic science. Pagdating po natin sa mga hormones, yung hormones na predominant sa mga kalalakihan ay testosterone and androgen. Testosterone, ito po nagpapakita ng pag mas mataas ito po yung nagpapakita ng mga body hairs, mas malapad ang shoulders, deep voice, mas prominent ang Adam's apple. Yan po yung mga characteristics na yan. No? And kapag sa mga kababaihan naman, mas mataas ang kanilang estrogen, no? And progesterone, ibig sabihin nun, less body hair, so rounder hips or wider hips, so bigger breasts. So yan po yung makikita sa kanila. But these hormones are also present sa men and women. It's just that meron pong iba na sa mga kalalakihan, typically mas mataas ang testosterone, sa mga kababaihan mas mataas ang estrogen. Is there a possibility na ang lalaki po ba ay magkaroon ng mas mataas na estrogen? Yes. Mapapansin po ninyo that there are some men na less ang body hair at saka yung facial features po nila ay less defined. Ibig sabihin po nun, mas mataas ang estrogen levels sa kanilang katawan. There are some women that, born female, but meron po silang bigote, may mga buhok sa kilikili, may buhok sa binti. No? So ibig sabihin nito, mas mataas ang testosterone level nila compared with the other females. Yun po yung ibig sabihin nun. No? Because all of these hormones are present in the body. Kaya, for an individual who is going to transition from one gender to another, ay isa po ito sa kanyang kino-consider, yung hormonal replacement o yung pagbabago ng composition ng hormone sa kanyang katawan para mag-exhibit ng secondary sex characteristics. Ito po yung mga mention ko kanina na characteristics na usually nakikita natin yan during adolescence or puberty. Ang gender naman ay socially constructed characteristics. Ibig sabihin nito ay based to sa kung ano ang sinasabi ng lipunan ng mga characteristics na nakakapit doon sa biological sex ng isang tao. At usually, ang mga characteristics na yan ay nakakabit sa kung ano yung tinatawag nating norm o yung normal o yung tolerated and accepted na mga behaviors ng mga men and women in your current area. Which means that hindi po ito sa lahat ng pagkakataon na ang mga what is normal in this area is normal in other areas. Dahil nga magkakaiba po ang society natin, magkakaiba ang mga practice culture at meron po tayong iba't ibang mga context. Therefore, pwedeng magbago din ang gender norms. Kasama din po dito pati kung ano ang roles ng mga taong iyan at saka yung mga relationships na meron sila. It is also very important to know kung ano yung human sexuality. Human sexuality naman po is the way we experience and we express ourselves sexually. And usually ito po ay pwede nating pakita physically, erotically, emotionally, spiritually, through feelings and behaviors. And these are actually affected by multiple factors such as culture, politics, our laws, the philosophies, the moral, ethical, and religious aspects or standards in that certain society. So ang human sexuality, makikita po natin mamaya, yan po ang magiging basis ng pag-aaral ng maraming mga tao para doon sa sexual orientation and gender identity. Ang social construction of gender, ibig sabihin po nito ay hinubog tayo ng lipunan. Lahat po ng meron kayo ngayon, lahat ng paniniwala nyo, ng suot nyo, lahat ng mga preferences nyo, they are all reflections from the societies that you actually come from. They are also, kumbaga parang galing yan sa mga parang remnants, kumbaga, ng mga taong mas nauna pa sa atin. Yung mga taong naghubog ng lipunan before us, before we even come to this earth. Meron na niyang sistemang yan. This social construction, no, is usually invisible. Hindi natin yan napapansin. Napapasa yan sa atin, no, sa iba't ibang paraan. Nung bata pa lang tayo hanggang sa pagtanda. And tayo din, pwede din nating mapasa ang mga paniniwalang yan sa ating mga magiging anak o sa mga mas bata pa sa atin. Ang tawag doon ay socialization process. The lifelong transferring of these norms, customs, and ideologies. In the family, nalilipat ng usually parents, no, sa kanilang mga anak ang gender norms pamagitan ng 4 na proseso according kay Hartley. Una po dito ay manipulation. Ang ginagawa ng mga magulang, sila ang nagde-decide para sa kanilang mga anak kung ano ang gusto nila para sa kanilang mga anak. No? Example, nung pinanganak ka, pagka you're born male, blue ang lampin. Kapag born female, pink ang lampin. And then, kasama na doon pati lahat, kulay ng room, pati yung mga laruan, mga robots, guns, mga ganon. No? Sa mga batang babae, dolls, no? Ganyan yung mga toy house, ganyan lagi yung piniperceive, no, ng mga magulang. At sila po ang namimili niyan. If napansin niyo din po, pagdating sa mga gender reveal parties, they do not reveal the gender of the child, but they wanted to reveal the sex of the child. No? So if their child is female or male. Okay? And actually, may manipulation na part na doon. So ano po yung manipulation na part doon? Ang nangyayari is that the society around, no, the people around you, may mga expectations na sila, no, if you are born male or you're born female. And yun po yung expectations na yan, mapapasa na yan sa'yo, hindi ka pa pinapanganak. Ngayon, pag pinanganak ka na, ang na-manipulate ng lipunan yung mga, kung ano yung dapat mong magustuhan, ano yung mga activities na pwede, sino dapat mong makalaro, anong mga activities ang pwede mong gawin, etc. Pagdating natin sa canalization, ito na po yung mas sasabihin natin evident, no, pag nandyan ka na, no, merong mga activities na nire-redirect ka. Okay, it's more of a redirection and more of a familiarization of the activities. Okay. Na-expose ka sa mga activities that are supposedly for boys and supposedly for girls. So yan, mamaya makikita po ninyo, there's a video that I'm going to show you of the kung paano nakikita natin yung socialization process. Next is verbal appellation. Apart from yung how parents would treat their children, kasama din dito yung words, yung sinasabi ng mga magulang. And usually, yung sinasabi ng mga magulang, no, nare-reinforce nila yung mga paniniwala nila o yung mga reflection ng society of what is tolerated ng mga behaviors ng men and women in their society. Okay. And meron po yung mga characteristics. So lagi natin naririnig yan, di ba? Pagka pinapagalitan ka ng mga magulang nyo, ano ka babae mong taong, burara mo, mga ganyan. So kalalaki mong tao, iyakin ka, mga ganyan. So yeah, itong mga linyang yan, these are all what we call verbal appellations. Nire-reinforce through words yung mga behaviors, and these behaviors are now being kumbaga processed by children, and they think na parang, okay, so boys should not cry. Kasi sabi ng parents ko, ang mga boys daw, they don't cry. Ang girls daw, they should be prim and proper. May mga ganyan na ingrained na sa kanilang consciousness. Activity exposure naman pertains to the different activities where children are exposed to their parents, and that nakakopy nila, no, yung mga activities na yan from their parents. Kagaya na nakikita nyo sa GIF na to, si Dindy Aquino Yap, so lagi ko siyang na-example kasi lagi din siyang tampulan ng mga biro at saka ng mga kutsa ng mga tao, no? Dahil nga sa kanyang gestures, mannerisms, kanyang mga choice of words. Pero kung titingnan po ninyo at pag-aaralan yung si Dindy Aquino Yap, makikita po ninyo na he is a reflection and a direct parang parang representation, a male representation of a Chris Aquino, parang ganun. Kasi nga lagi niyang kasama si Chris, di ba? So nakikita niyo sa kanya yung nakikita natin kay Chris. And usually the characteristics that we see in Chris Aquino as a female individual ay ngayon nakikita natin sa isang male individual. Therefore, we say that this male individual, baka hindi talaga siya lalaki, baka hindi siya heterosexual, baka gay siya. Kasi nakikita natin yung mga characteristics na ine-emanate niya, no, or ine-emulate, kinokopya niya from kanya sa nanay niya. Pero ngayon na lumalaki na si Bimbi, ngayon na mas adolescent na siya or pre-adolescent na siya actually, makikita mo na iba na rin yung kanyang behavior, iba na rin yung kanyang pananalita compared doon sa mas batang version niya. So ito yung sinasabi natin that kung ano yung nakikita natin sa mga bata, usually it's a copy of their parents. Pero later on, as they grow older, nagkakaroon na sila ng sarili nilang identity and they shed off some of the traits. Nawawala na yan sa kanilang mga sa kanilang actions, pananalita, pwede siyang magbago. Pero pwede ding ma-retain yung iba. Hindi naman totally like a totally new being. Pero dahil meron na siyang sariling consciousness about their identity, maaari niyang i-reject at maaari niyang i-adopt yung mga behaviors na yan. Next there are different agents of socialization. Kumaga hindi lang family ang nakaka-influence sa paghuhubog ng lipunan at paghuhubog sa atin bilang mga individuals. Even religion has a huge role and can affect sa pamamagitan ng mga religious beliefs and dogmas. Yung mga tinuturo po ng mga religious leaders natin, yung mga sinasabi po ng mga religious texts at saka yung mga pinapractice sa mga religious organizations. Lahat ng po yan ay nakakaapekto sa paniniwala ng kanilang mga nasasakupan at mga miyembro. Kaya nga po, if napapansin po ninyo, pagdating sa usapin ng sexual orientation and gender identity, lagi po nilang binabalandara, lagi nilang ginagamit ang Bible, ang Quran. So all of these are religious texts, no? And all of these are religious teachings. Kasi ganun nga kalaki ang influence ng religion sa pag-shape o paghuhubog ng ating mga paniniwala of what's tolerated and what's acceptable or not acceptable para sa lipunan. But in reality, hindi po lang religion ang basis of what's moral and what's immoral or amoral. Hindi lang po religion ang basis kung ano po ang sasabi nating acceptable or hindi sa isang lipunan. There are multiple areas wherein we can source this out. It's just that the religion would assert itself, or religious organizations would assert itself as the authority pagdating sa usaping morality. And pagdating doon, kaya ayun yung nangyayari. Whenever they assert their authority over this, the public or the people around, either they reject it or they don't. So pwede nilang i-accept yan. So nasa mga tao din yan, na mga tao naniniwala doon sa faith na yon. Pagdating natin sa media, makikita po ninyo kung paano hinuhubog ng media ang mga perceptions ng mga tao pagdating sa what are the acceptable and not acceptable behaviors ng mga men and women and gender diverse people. Pinapakita po yan through advertisements, sa mga teleserye, pinapakita yan sa mga movies, pinapakita yan sa mga different print materials. So, and all of this can be seen, can be heard, at paulit-ulit. And one thing that you need to know is that pag paulit-ulit siya, nagiging part siya ng consciousness ng isang individual. So every time that you hear it, every time that you actually see that, nagkakaroon siya ng stimulation sa'yo at na-associate mo ngayon yung behavior na yon to that to that figure or yung pinapakita ng imagery. Sa school at saka sa work, makikita po natin yan sa mga policies and sa mga policies and culture. Mapapansin po ninyo sa school, meron pong uniform policies. Similar din yan sa workplace, may uniform policy din. Hindi ka pwedeng magsuot ng ganito, hindi ka pwedeng magsuot ng uniform of the opposite sex, hindi ka pwedeng magsuot ng ganito, magkulay ng ganyan. Maraming mga rules. So, and these rules, the question is, para saan ba talaga yung rules na yun? Have you even asked yourselves those questions? Para saan nga ba talaga yung rule na yan? Why is that rule there in the first place? Is that rule to actually para sabihin na para lahat daw ng mga estudyante ay uniform? Yes, pero para saan? 'Di ba? Para saan? Kumaga, we need to understand why these rules are placed. And nakaka-apekto ba talaga siya sa academic performance ng mga students? Well, the answer is yes, nakaka-apekto siya sa academic performance. According to some studies, when the rules are stricter, the academic performance will be poorer. Mas mababa yung academic performance ng mga students based sa mga policies that are really strict when it comes to expressing themselves. Kaya if mapapansin po ninyo, some of the state universities or universities that we have here in the Philippines, like De La Salle University, where I came from, and the University of the Philippines, where I also came from, wala siyang uniform pagdating sa eskwelahan. You can wear any decent clothing, pero wala talaga siyang parang nire-require na uniform pag pumunta ka sa school. Kasi parang they ask you to be yourself, parang ganyan. And when you are yourself, you are more comfortable and more open to learning. So yun po yung nangyayari. Hindi lang yan sa mga students, even with mga personnel, very limiting din, no, sa workplace. Ang mga babae ang nire-require magsuot ng high heels, ang babae ang nire-require mag-makeup, ang mga lalaki hindi. Pansin niyo po ba yun? Even in some mga work, no, yung mga ginagawang mga trabaho, very specific. Ang babae ang cashier, ang lalaki ang bagger. Pag nasa department store ka, ilan lang na makikita mo yung department store na baliktad. 'Di ba? Na ang lalaki ang cashier, babae ang bagger. Usually, it's always the women who are the cashier and the men are always the bagger. Pag nasa bangko ka, makikita mo na babae ang teller, lalaki ang manager. So it's almost always like that. No? So ibig sabihin nun, these are stereotypes na kinakabit natin sa mga behaviors ng men and women at natatranslate na siya into professions. Kaya pag tinignan po ninyo sa nursing, for example, nursing, midwifery, accountancy, these are all professions dominated by women. It's because these are all the professions that are reflection of the work of women inside the home. Kaya makikita nyo na even teaching, no, yung pagtuturo, kaya mas marami talaga ang mga babae ang mga nandyan. Therefore, when men are entering these professions, they are confirmed. Actually, hindi po totoo yun. So walang kinalaman ang sexuality ng isang tao sa profession na tinitake niya. Pero dahil nga marami pong mga individuals ang mga nagsasabi na this profession is for women, this profession is for men. Therefore, when women would go into engineering, confirmed, lesbiana siya, tomboy siya. Walang kinalaman yun sa kanyang profession. May kinalaman yun sa kanyang interest, yes. Pero walang kinalaman yun sa kanyang sexuality. Pagdating natin sa state, makikita po ninyo na kung paano kinokontrol ng lipunan ang mga gender norms and stereotypes sa pamamagitan ng mga batas. There are some laws in the Philippines that are really strict. For example, yung marital affairs, extramarital affairs in the Philippines. The extramarital affairs, sa mga lalaki na nakakakumit nito, ang tawag ay concubinage, sa mga kababaihan, adultery. Pero same offense lang yan, extramarital affairs. No? Ibig sabihin, meron silang kalaguyo, meron silang mga kabit. And makikita po ninyo sa batas na magkaiba ang treatment. Sa mas mabigat ang pataw ng batas ng punishment sa mga kababaihan, mas mabigat ang danyos, mas malaki ang danyos na babayaran. mas mabilis mapatunayan ang adultery kaysa sa concubinage. Sa concubinage, mas mahirap siyang patunayan, mas maiksi ang jail time, at saka mas maliit ang danyos. Ngayon, ang tanong is, bakit kaya naging ganon? Same offense lang, pero magkaibang treatment ng batas. It's because karamihan ng nagsulat ng batas na yon ay kalalakihan. So dito po pumapasok yung mga gender norms and stereotypes based on the people creating the law. That is why it's important for more women representation in higher in politics and yung mga lawmaking bodies. Pero kung makikita po ninyo, the number of women in this institutions of power sa bansa, iilan lamang, no? Iilan lang yung mga presidenteng babae, iilan lang yung presidenteng naging vice president. Pagdating natin sa Senate and Congress, makikita po ninyo na according sa COMELEC, roughly less than 30%, no, yung mga numbers na yan. And nasa ganyan din yung numbers pagdating sa mga mayors, governors, hanggang sa mga barangay captain. Makikita po ninyo konti lang ang mga kababaihan. Pero pagdating po natin sa mga electorate, the number of people voting, according sa COMELEC, mas marami pong mga babaeng bumoto. More than 50% of the voting public are women, but the ones na-elect ay mga kalalakihan. So nakikita natin yung imbalance talaga pagdating sa pag-a-assume ng mga roles na to. Yan po yung sinasabi natin that the state can influence talaga yung through laws and policies, yung mga stereotypes. And also, the gender stereotypes affects the state. I'm going to show you a video of how a parent deals with gender stereotypes sa kanyang dalawang anak.
My boys are growing up in a world where I don't think they've ever questioned whether or not a woman could be a doctor or whether or not a man could be a dancer. They're not assigning roles to gender because that's their reality. But unfortunately, outdated stereotypes are still very much alive today. So we as parents need to be raising kids that are aware and mindful that just because they are not hearing these sort of things on a regular basis, that they are very real. One day when my boys were younger, we went to a popular fast food restaurant, and the person working the drive-thru asks me, "Is that for a boy or is it for a girl?" We were quiet in the car, and my boys are like, "Why does that matter?" So we get to the window and they give us these kid meals, and it turns out the reason that they were asking is because there are two very specific toy options, one of which is for boys, one of which is for girls. And my boys did not want that toy that was for the boy. We had to park the car and go inside to make them give me the toy for a girl. These conversations are important because what they see from me and from their mother and from society, that is going to shape their view of gender roles. In our home, I take on a lot of responsibilities that previous generations would have scoffed at. The idea of a man doing laundry and dropping off the kids at practice and going on field trips and changing diapers. And conversely, my wife, she'll fix the dryer. She'll put in a ceiling fan. Frankly, she's better at that than I am, so why wouldn't she do that? For our boys to grow up seeing that in action and know that it's not staged, that it's our reality, that's going to open them up to so many other possibilities. I'm not saying, oh, you can't ever talk to your girls about bunnies if they love bunnies. You can only talk to them about science. Meet them where they are, and same with boys. By no means do I want to imply that it's wrong for kids to embrace things that they enjoy just because it falls on one side or the other. Just that it shouldn't be mandated by us. Kids can be anything. Girls can be strong, boys can be strong. Girls can be sensitive, boys can be sensitive, and everybody loves glitter. To see kids grow up embracing that, it makes it for such a brighter future, a healthier environment for everyone.
All right.
My boys are growing.
Sorry. So nakita na po natin kung anong influence ng family and other institutions of power sa paghuhubog na kung anong paningin natin sa gender norms and stereotypes. And now, this can be translated into our beliefs and our impressions of on sexual orientation and gender identity, gender expression, and sex characteristics. So kaya po yun yung nauna kasi gusto natin i-establish muna para mas maintindihan po ninyo na itong mga paniniwala natin these are not new. These are actually old concepts na being passed on to us from the people way ahead of us. Sila po yung nauna at pinasa po ito ng ipinasa, and it is now up to us also to become more aware of this and to change the narrative. So ano nga po ba talaga ang sexual orientation at gender identity or ang gender expression or SOGIE SC? So sa SOGIE SC model, ito po ay makakategorize natin into 4 distinct and very unique na mga characteristics ng ating persona. So lahat po tayo meron nito. First, pagdating natin sa sexual orientation, ito ay usaping puso. Kanino tayo nagkakagusto o naaakit? Kayo po ba ay nagkakagusto o naaakit sa ibang tao? Yes or no? Yan, sagutin po natin sa chat box. Nagkakagusto po ba kayo sa ibang tao? Maaaring yung pagkakagusto na yan ay maaaring physical, pwedeng sexual, pwedeng emotional, intellectual, or spiritual. Yes? Yes, nagkakagusto po yung iba. Yan. So dahil nagkakagusto po tayo sa ibang mga tao, naaakit tayo sa ibang tao, maaaring yung yung level ng akit na yan, maaaring mas malalim sa ibang tao kaysa sa iba, di ba? Pero meron pa din. No? So yan po yung natawag nating sexual orientation. Usually in this context, ang sinasabi po dito ay yung sexual or physical attraction and yung emotional na attraction. So dalawa ang ina-highlight ng sexual orientation. Okay, so yan po mamaya ipapakita ko sa inyo kung ano-ano ang iba't ibang klase ng sexual orientation. And second one ay usaping gender identity. So usaping utak. No? Pagkakilala mo sa iyong sarili kung ikaw ba ay babae o lalaki, maaaring halo yung characteristics na yan o maaaring wala sa dalawa. Meron ka bang pagkakakilala sa iyong sarili? Internal identity. Kumaga, meron ka ba yan? Para siyang the inner voice telling you if you're a man, you're a woman, you're neither, you're maybe a mixture of both. You have this? Yes, I can see some responses. Yes, di ba? We have that. No? Meron tayo niyan, and usually tayo lang ang nakakaalam niyan, wala nang ibang tao. No? Hindi natin to pinapaalam sa ibang mga tao usually. This is the inner voice that we have. This is what we call the gender identity. Gender identity is formed by human beings pagka nagkaroon na po sila ng kamalayan or consciousness. According to psychology, no, ito ay nade-develop during the age of 3 years old and going to adulthood. No? Pag sinabi po natin yung 3 years old, kasi during this time daw, doon pa lang sila nagkakaroon ng consciousness na they are different, their body is different from other individuals. At dito po sila nagkakaroon ng konsepto ng self, the concept of self. Dito po nade-develop yan unti-unti. Now the question is, sabi ni Juliet dito, hindi nga alam nila. Siguro hindi nila alam ng iba. Okay. Maaaring hindi nila alam, hindi mo pinapaalam, or maybe ikaw din, hindi mo din alam sa sarili mo as of the moment. Is this possible na hindi mo pa alam as of the moment? Yes. Dahil ang gender identity ay based on lived experiences. Galing yan sa mga experience mo. Galing yan sa mga pinagdadaanan mo sa buhay. There are some individuals na kung saan ang kanilang mga experience ay mas nag-facilitate o tumulong sa kanila para makilala nila agad ang kanilang sarili. There are some individuals na kung saan ang kanilang environment at ang kanilang current situation did not allow them to learn about themselves quicker than the others. Kaya pag nalaman po ninyo na sa ibang tao na, hala, bakit ngayon lang siya nag-out, ang tanda-tanda na niya. Diba? Ang tanda-tanda niya hindi niya pa aminin na bakla siya or tomboy siya or whatever. Well, it's their lives. No? We don't know their stories yet. Kumbaga meron niyang mga factors that definitely affected why they bakit ngayon lang nila nalaman yung mga ganyan. Mamaya meron po tayong isang case na papakita sa inyo na isang pag-change ng kanyang gender identity at the later age. So matanda na talaga siya nung nagkaroon siya ng kamalayan tungkol sa kanyang gender identity. Dahil noon, meron na siyang idea pero hindi niya kino-consider kasi nga meron siyang mga experiences na nag-i-inhibit o sa kanya na pumipigil sa kanya para i-expand yung identity na yan. Ayun. So, alright. So next ay gender expression. Ito po yung panlabas nating kaanyuan o pananamit o galaw at itsura na base sa o umaakma sa kalalakihan, kababaihan, maaring magkahalo o wala sa dalawa. Meron po ba tayong ganito? Meron ba tayong mga panlabas na kaanyuan na maaring sumusunod sa tinatakda ng lipunan na para sa mga kalalakihan, kababaihan o mahalo o maaring wala doon? Yes? May yes na sagot. How about the others? Yung po bang mga panlabas po natin, naapektuhan po ba yan ng fashion trends? Naapektuhan ba yan ng kung ano ang preference natin? Naapektuhan ba siya ng kung ano ang kinalakihan natin? The answer is yes. All of us ay may gender expression, and ang gender expression sa kanilang lahat, siya ang pinaka-volatile, siya yung pinaka-lagi nagbabago. So yung nakikita natin sa panlabas, usually is a reflection of preference, pwede rin identity, pwede din siyang trends, kung ano yung, ito ngayon yung uso ngayon ito yung suot ko. Kaya matitinan ko yung mga pictures ko nung 90s, oh my gosh, may picture. Kung may mga teachers po tayo dito, balikan niyo po yung mga natin po ninyong mga picture when you were like teenagers at kayo mismo magsasabi, ew, bakit ganyan yung picture ko? Bakit ganyan yung suot ko? Well, it's a reflection of the time. Diba? So, ibig sabihin nun na nagbabago ang panlabas natin kaanyuan. Diba? Memories to bring back daw. Yes, actually, mga memories na yan, they're not really good memories. They're very haunting memories. Pag itinan ko, yung sarili ko, may isa kaming family picture na meron akong, bandanang puti ng suot dito sa ulo. Pag nakikita ko talaga yung picture, tawang-tawa talaga ako. Sabi ko, oh my gosh, what is this fashion? Well, 90s kasi yon. Hello, 90s. So, ganun yun. Gender expression yon. It is highly changing. At hindi po natin pwedeng ma-based yung pong nakikita po natin sa panlabas kung ano yung kanyang internal na identity. Okay? At ang panghuli ay sexual characteristics. Ito po yung physical na katangian natin. Meron po ba kayo niyan? Meron po ba kayong pribadong ari? Meron po ba kayong reproductive system? So pakitingnan po ang inyong mga sarili kung meron po kayo niyan. Pakitingnan po ninyo ngayon. At paki-identify at paki-confirm kung meron po tayong mga sexual characteristics. Meron po ba kayo? Yes? Tinignan nila. Sabi na meron pa naman po. Hindi pa naman po siya nawala. Lahat po tayo ay meron yan. Okay, pero ang one thing that you will notice is that the sexual characteristics will change. Some of them will change over time because the body will mature. No? Pag tumungtong po tayo ng adolescents or teenagers, nagbabago yung katawan natin because based on our hormonal structure, our hormonal composition. Kaya yung iba lumalaki, yung iba lumiliit, yung iba lumalalim, yung iba mas dumadami yung buhok, etc. Meron talagang mga ganon. No? That's part of the natural progression of the body. Ngayon, pagdating natin sa sexual characteristics ng mga adults, pagka matanda ka na, diba? Pwede po ba naming palitan yung mga sexual characteristics na yan? The answer is yes to some. Externally, pwede nating palitan yung iba. The others, we can't. No, kaya po yung iba nakikita po ninyo, hala, todo pa-waxing, no? Nagpapa-wax, punta ng mga waxing salon, patanggal ng mga body hairs kasi ayaw nila yung sobrang daming mga buhok sa katawan. Diba? So, nagpapa-teeth whitening kasi ayaw nila ng mga dilaw ng ngipin. But naturally, teeth are really yellowish. Diba? So, maraming mga ganyan na ginagawa ang mga adults. No? Part yan ng kumbaga aspirations or whatsoever of adults to become desirable, di ba? So binabago yung mga characteristics na yon. Ganon din po ba yon pagdating sa mga transgender individuals na pwede nilang baguhin ang kanilang panlabas na kaanyuan para umakma sa panloob nilang pagkatao? The answer is yes. They can change the external body so that it will fit the internal self. So yan po yung nangyayari for sexual characteristics. Kaya po yung iba ay dumadaan ng surgery, yung iba naman po ay nag-hormonal replacement therapy para tumugma po yun sa kanilang internal na pagkilala. Yan. Pwede po ba ang mga ibang transgender, pwede po ba silang hindi dumaan sa operation or surgery? Yes. Choice naman nila yon in the first place. Okay? Now, let's go to the types of attraction before we go to sexual orientation. So there are different types of attraction, but I'm going to highlight 6. There are 6 types of attraction that are familiar to all of you. The first one is platonic attraction. Ito po yung friends lang, di ba? So wala ka talagang libog sa katawan na nararamdaman para sa taong yan. So pagka nakikita mo yan, friends lang talaga kayo. So platonic ang attraction sa isa't isa. Yan ibig sabihin nun. Sexual attraction is may libog kang nararamdaman para sa taong yun. Pag nakikita mo siya, nag-iinit ang katawan mo. May something na nangyayari sa kaibuturan ng iyong damdamin. Nagpinagpapawisan ka, ganyan. Ibig sabihin, sexual ang attraction natin. Aesthetic attraction, ang term na ginagamit natin kapag meron tayong attraction sa certain part ng body niya na gustong-gusto natin. In other words, crush. Diba? Pagka may crush tayo, usually may isang karakteristik na gustong-gusto talaga natin. Gustong-gusto natin yung mata niya, gustong-gusto natin yung ilong niya, gustong-gusto natin yung diba pagka yung mga K-drama stars, no? Pag titingnan natin, ang ganda talaga ng ilong nito, ang ganda talaga ng mata niya, ang ganda ng abs niya. So aesthetic attraction ang tawag doon. Okay? O yun, o kaya lips, diba? So yan, mga sana all may crush daw. Or sana all nagiging crush ng iba, di ba? Next ay romantic attraction. So romantic attraction naman, ito po yung meron po tayong desire to form romantic relationships with this person. Ibig sabihin, pag nakikita mo yung taong to, nakikita mo yung sarili mo sa kanya na siya makakasama mo pagtanda. Wow! Di ba? Yan yung mga ganyan. Yung parang gusto mo siya makasama, na siya na maging life partner mo through thick and thin, di ba? Through sickness and health, till death do you part, di ba? Yung mga ganun, romantic attraction ng tao dyan. Sensual attraction naman is yung desire for physical intimacy. Not necessarily sexual, pero physical. Example po nito, pagka mag-best friend. Di ba napansin po niyo pagka mag-best friend, parang, uy, best, putang natin yung CR, o sige, ganyan, tapos magka-holding hands pa sila. Para sa kanila, hindi sexual yung relationship na yon, pero sensual siya kasi kailangan yun ng physical bond. Ganon din halimbawa sa mga lalaki, yung pag nag-aakbay, o kaya yung mayakap, mga ganyan. These are all sensual attraction. Okay? Mas mataas na level ng platonic attraction, pero hindi siya sexual in nature. Yung ibang mga tao na nakakakita nun, nagbibigay sila ng mali siya. Problema na nila yon. Pero for these individuals, sensual lang yung kanilang level of attraction nila. Kaya makikita niyo yung term na bromance, no? Yung bromance na yan, these are what we call sensual attraction. They would like to hug, they would like to cuddle, mga ganyan. Pero wala talaga siyang hindi siya sexual in nature. But the people who are actually looking into that interprets it as sexual. Kasi nga, yung mga ginagawa usually na yon ay nakikita din natin sa mga taong may sexual attraction. Kaya na-associate nila. Okay? And then alterous attraction ay ang term na ginagamit po natin sa mga taong meron pong relationship na beyond friends but less than lovers. Char. Yun po yung alterous attraction. O, yan po sabihin nyo yan sa mga ano nyo, sa mga ano, mga gusto mong sabihan. Meron pala tayong alterous attraction. Yes, meron po kayong, you are beyond platonic, ibig sabihin, meron po kayong sexual tension, meron kayong sexual attraction sa isa't isa, you might be even having sex, but walang labels. Di ba? Oh my gosh, check the label, friend. Mga ganon. Hindi natin alam yung mga labels na yan. Oh, yan, friends with benefits, that's right. No? Pwede po yung ganon. And may mga ganyang mga individuals. No? Ang tawag natin dyan ay alterous attraction. Pwede kasing mangyari yon na they just don't want to put certain labels or to put, whatever to their relationship because it put pressure to them, no, sa individuals. Kaya they just don't want to be identified something else. Parang ganyan. So, pero meron ganon. Okay? So yan yung mga types of attraction. Now, para sa usapin ng sexual orientation and romantic orientations, ang hina-highlight natin dito ay dalawang bagay. The sexual and physical attraction and the romantic or emotional attraction. Ayan. And usually, dito yung enduring patterns. Ibig sabihin nun, you have felt that before when you were younger, and then you keep on experiencing it until now, until adulthood. Na-experience mo pa rin yan. Now, the question is, are you going to address that emotions or not? Nasa iyo na yon kung i-address mo siya or hindi. Gayun pa man, it's the enduring pattern of this attraction. So nararamdaman mo yung pakiramdam na na-attract ka to the opposite sex, to the same sex, to both sexes, no? And pwede mong gawan ng action o hindi. Okay? So yun. But what we're looking at is the emotions or yung nararamdaman, yung na-experience ng individual. Aromantic or asexual individuals, ito po yung mga tao na hindi nakaka-experience ng romantic and or physical attraction towards anyone. Pwede po pala yun? Yes, pwede po yun. There are some individuals na hindi po nakaka-experience ng romantic attraction. Pero hindi ibig sabihin, hindi sila nakikipag-sex. Meron pa rin sila sexual attraction with other people. It's just that pagdating sa pakikipag-relationship, it's a big no for them. Parang ganon. Pero pwede din po bang asexual yung isang tao? They don't experience any sexual feelings or sexual attraction to another individual, pero they can form emotional relationships with another individual? The answer is yes. There are some individuals like that. Hindi sila interested sa pakikipagtalik, interested sila makipag-form ng relationships. Yun po yung mga aromantic at saka asexual. Ang gray romantic at gray sexual individuals naman are those people who rarely experience emotional and or physical attraction towards anyone. Okay, so rarely. Nakaka-experience sila pero rare. Yan. Yun yung difference nila with the asexual and aromantic. Ang demi-romantic at demisexual naman are these individuals na nakaka-experience ng emotional and or physical attraction towards someone after developing a strong bond. Napansin niyo po ba yon? Meron pong mga ibang ganong mga tao na hindi sila makikipagtalik sa'yo kapag hindi ka pa nila nakikilala ng lubusan. Or hindi pa sila mafo-fall kapag hindi mafo-fall like emotionally ma-attract sa'yo pag hindi pa kayo maging parang magkaibigan for a long time. There are some individuals like that. Ang tawag doon ay demi-romantic or demisexual. Ang gulo ng chat ha, in fairness. Yung mga tao. Oh, so what you see and what you hear, you leave it there down. Yeah, yun. So ang nangyayari po dito sa mga demi-romantic individuals, they will not engage sexually with this individual kapag wala pang emotional or personal attraction and relationship. So kailangan muna nilang ma-form yon. So it's about, I don't know, maybe it's about trust, maybe it's about getting to know that person really well, mga ganon. Kapag ang mga demisexuals naman, ganon din, no? So hindi sila ang demi-romantic people naman are those that they will not form romantic relationships with other people if they don't know that people really well. So they have to know that people, that person first, matagal muna yung development, parang ganon. Or otherwise known as na-develop. Yun yung term. Heterosexual or heteroromantic, ito po yung mga taong nakaka-experience ng emotional and or physical attraction towards the same gender, opposite gender other than their own. So ito po yung pinakakilala sa atin, no? Heterosexual and heteroromantic. Ito po yung nagkakagusto to the opposite sex or to the opposite gender. Pagka homoromantic at homosexual, ito po yung mga taong nagkakagusto to the same gender or to the same sex. Kapag bisexual at biromantic, these are people who experience emotional and or physical attraction towards the same gender as well as other genders other than their own. So pwede sila ma-attract to both sexes or to both genders. Pansexual or panromantic individuals are those na nakaka-experience naman ng attraction, na physical and or emotional attraction towards all genders or pwede ding regardless of gender. Ibig sabihin, hindi nila ginagamit yung kasarian ng isang tao as a basis for them to be attracted to that person. And there are some people like this. No? Usually, according to study, mas marami na pong mga younger individuals na pansexual or panromantic. Kumaga, they are attracted to another individual based on the total package of that individual, the totality of that human being. Hindi siya based on what's between the legs. Kumbaga hindi yung masyado yung nagmamatter for them. Diba? So yun po yung ibig sabihin ng panromantic or pansexual. Polyromantic or polysexual are individuals na nakaka-experience ng emotional and or physical attraction towards multiple but not necessarily all genders. Example po nito, pwede siyang magkaroon ng attraction to homosexuals and bisexuals, pero sa heterosexual, hindi siya nagkakaroon ng attraction. Pwede din po bang heterosexual siya na nagkakaroon siya ng sexual attraction sa mga pansexual? Pero pagdating sa homosexual, hindi. Pwede din. No? So yun po yung sinasabi natin na, hindi naman, it's like harem daw. So parang hindi naman talaga siya like harem in such a way na as strictly as defined. No? Pero, polysexual is more of you are open, no, to being attracted to multiple individuals. Okay? And pwede naman kasi ma-experience yun. No? Ngayon, ang tanong kasi ng mga tao, yung ganong klaseng attraction po ba, same po ba yun sa lahat ng mga individuals? Kung maganda na nagustuhan niya? Well, we don't know that. Pero sa pagkakaalam ko, hindi siya pare-pareho talaga. Meron talagang isang tao na mas matimbang, parang ganyan, ng slight o ng bahagya. Mas gusto niya to ng bahagya, parang ganyan. Pero hindi talaga siya like, masasabi nating pare-pareho talaga. Parang similarly when parents tell you na all of you are my children, I love you all. Like, come on, we know na meron kang favoritism. Meron talaga tayong inclination. So ang tawag doon ay affinity. Yung affinity na yan ay meron po yung parang nag-gravitate tayo towards a certain thing or a certain concept or a certain person. Yung affinity na yan na yung konti na parang liko or konting parang preference na na-experience natin o pinapakita natin or whatsoever. So similarly for polysexuals, they may be attracted to multiple genders, but definitely there are some dun based on that experience, meron siyang mas maraming experience on same sex, meron siyang maraming experiences on opposite sex, mga ganyan. So nagbabago talaga siya. Okay, so yun po ang sinasabi natin. Ngayon, para po mas ma-clarify, can we have different sexual and romantic orientations? Can I be heteroromantic but not heterosexual? So ito question to sa akin many times. Yes, you can. You can be heteroromantic. Ibig sabihin nun, pagdating sa emotional attraction, pakikipag-relationships, gusto mo lang ang opposite sex. Pero pagdating mo sa pakikipagtalik, you are more open to other experiences or other things. No? Pwedeng hindi ka na exclusively heterosexual. Pwede kang bisexual, Pwede kang pansexual, pwede kang polysexual, pwede ka ding, well, hindi natin masasabing homosexual kasi nakikipagtali ka naman doon sa ka-relationship mo emotionally. Pero ang sinasabi lang natin dito ay there is a possibility that human beings can have different romantic orientations from sexual orientations. So yun. Hindi na natin syempre masyado itong i-identify at i-nitty-gritty dahil hindi naman po ito sexuality studies. Ganun pa man, yun po yung common na questions na tinatanong sa akin pagdating sa presentation na to. Kaya at the end of the day, it's your preference and it's your experiences. Therefore, we are in no position to question that and to tell you if that's valid or not. Lahat ng experiences natin ay valid. Okay? So lahat ng nararamdaman natin, valid yan. Kasi ikaw ang nakakaramdam yan. There is no way for us to determine if your feelings are invalid because hindi naman nasasabi ng ibang tao kung ang nararamdaman natin ay valid or hindi. Diba? So yun po yung sinasabi natin sa sexual and romantic orientations. It's always a personal personal identity. Sila po ang nag-identify niyan. Pagdating natin sa gender identity, ito naman po yung deeply felt internal individual's experience of gender. Kung sila ay mas lalaki o babae o whichever, depending sa kanilang experiences. No? Ito ay according sa United Nations. And pag cisgender, ito po yung mga tao na pinanganak na ang kanilang ari, no, biological sex nila ay tumutugma sa kanilang identity when they are growing up. So if you're born with a penis, no, paglaki mo, ang paniniwala mo sa sarili mo at pagtingin mo sa sarili mo ay lalaki, then you are cisgender. We're not talking about attraction here. We're talking about yung pag-identify. Okay? So ihiwalay natin yung dalawang yon. Attraction is yung kanina. So magkaiba yon. So ang lagi pa natin tatandaan is kung ano yung ina-identify niya sa utak niya. Kung sinabi niya, transgender are those individuals who are born na ang kanilang biological sex at birth ay hindi po yun yung kanilang identity ngayon. So transgender po yun. So transgender individuals are those na, for example, this person is born with a vagina, but nung lumalaki siya, ang pagkilala niya sa sarili niya ay lalaki. Transgender yon. Ngayon, is this possible na ang mga transgender, pwede po ba nilang ipakita sa panlabas na kaanyuan yung kanilang identity or hindi? The answer is, yes, they may also not show this identity outside. Diba? And this identity is their choice, no? Kung papakita nila o hindi. Pwede din po ba na yung mga transgender individuals ay mag-go through ng gender reassignment or yung, actually hindi na natin ginagamit yung term na gender reassignment. Gender confirmation surgery na po yun. The answer is yes and no. So they may or may not. Depending po yan sa choice nila. It's always an internal identity. So yun po yung transgender individuals. Ang mga non-binary individuals, yun po yung mga individuals naman that does not identify exclusively as males or females. So they are somewhere in the middle of the spectrum. Okay? So yan po yung mga non-binary. Okay? Or they're either somewhere in the middle or they're outside of that entire spectrum at all. They don't believe that there are only two genders in the world. And according to studies, there are multiple genders, not just men and women. Hindi lang yun yung identity na yun. Yun lang yung nakasanayan natin. Nasanay tayo doon kasi yun lang din ang laging tinuturo. Pero actually, according to researches now, there are non-binary individuals. Genderqueer are those individuals naman who refer themselves and identify somewhere in the middle of masculine and feminine or being man and being a woman. Yun yung nasa gitna, genderqueer. Pagka nasa labas sila ng spectrum, non-binary. Yes? So ang genderqueer individuals, they believe that there are two genders and they are somewhere in the middle. So they're like a mixture of this masculine and feminine spirits or essence or traits or characteristics. Whereas a non-binary, kumbaga parang hindi siya exclude, parang ano yung tawag to, exclusive to men, women, male, female lang. Hindi siya dalawa lang. There are more than just that. Parang gano'n. Kaya pag naririnig po natin yung ibang mga tao, pag nakakausap po natin sila, so how do you identify yourself? So sabi niya, I'm a human being. Non-binary yon. They don't address themselves as men, women, or whatever. Gender fluid individuals naman are those individuals who may refer to themselves as someone in the spectrum na nagbago. No? Kagaya na lang ni Demi Lovato na gender fluid. Nasabi niya na I may be identifying as a woman now, but I don't know that in the future I may be identifying myself as a man. Because we don't know what the future holds. No? Pero yun yung sabi niya sa kanyang statement. So gender fluid individuals are those individuals who are not fixated to one gender identity. Kumaga for them, they're more open and kaya nga fluid, di ba? Sabihin they flow with time. No? Depende sa kanilang mga experiences, depende sa kanilang mga sa culture na ma-expose sila o sa mga taong makakahalubilo nila, then pwedeng magbago yung kanilang mga gender identity. Alright? So yan po yung gender identity. And one thing that you will have to notice about gender identity is that wala po yung kinalaman sa sexual orientation natin. Ang ating pong attraction later on will be discussed separately sa ating gender identity. So dito makikita po natin yung case study ni Angie and Joey King. So let's watch this.
When you were growing up, what was your idea of love?
Oh my God, I feel like a beauty queen question. So my idea of growing up of love, I actually don't know. We had a point where we almost both let go because we were fighting so often. The relationship was super toxic already, where waking up and going to bed was angry. And it was very difficult to do this on a daily basis. And if your relationship is not making you grow into a better person, then it's not a good relationship to be in. So 3 months into the relationship, I opened like babe, I like women's underwear. And it started there. And I always thought that I was gonna be single for the rest of my life. It was like I guess, an expectation, like no one's gonna understand me, I'm never gonna have a partner. And what makes it more difficult for myself is I'm a trans woman who likes women. Just the whole notion of me finding a supportive partner was very alien for me. So
Almost impossible.
Yeah, no, I thought it was like never gonna happen until I met Joe.
During Angie's transition, we'd always had the name Angelina from the beginning, from the get-go. But when things were really becoming very serious, I was trying to use her name from Ian to Angelina, but it was very interesting. I couldn't say her name. So I wanted to have a tattoo to represent also that I love Angelina, and yeah, it was something that I surpassed also very well. Probably the most difficult time for me as your spouse was the confirmation that you are going to transition. When you told me, babe, this is what I want with my life. This is when Dad had recovered and you started looking at your life in different perspectives. That's when I knew that, oh, okay, this is no longer fun time. This is no longer carnival time. This is really serious already.
We landed in one of the airports where it was super struggle. Like the airport security was a struggle. Literally being looked at head to toe, twice, thrice, asking someone else to look just for, yeah.
And looking at her with disdain.
I was in a car show and I had to use the bathroom. And in the bathroom were, I guess, the promo girls, and some of them gave me like
Stink eye.
not just stink eye.
But she said something to you.
Yeah, she said, dapat hindi ka dito. And I go, maghuhugas lang. I get that a lot from people who've known me for a long time but haven't seen me. And they're like, it's my first time to see you. How do I do this? And I explain, like, female pronouns. It's like, I prefer female pronouns, but I can't force anyone to use female pronouns. So it has to come from you. It cannot be like, you need to use female pronouns.
That's where I come in. That's where I come in and say, you need to use the proper addressing for her. Sorry. No, but really I do. I would like to advise those who are the friends and family who may have a friend or a family member experiencing what we are. I suggest that you start by opening your heart. That way your mind is open to possibilities, but always keep in your heart that you love this person. And if you love this person unconditionally, watch this person grow and watch yourself grow in abundance. It really works.
So my hope and my dreams for other people who are struggling is to find someone that you can really relate to. It doesn't have to be a partner or a parent or a sibling. It could be a good friend, and just having an open ear to talk to and express yourself is such a huge weight off your mind, your shoulders, especially for people who want to transition and have no one to talk to. I want to tell you that don't lose hope, because I thought my hope was gone already completely. And when I met Joe, everything changed, and you just have to be patient.
Ayan, so nakita po ninyo yung story ni Angie at saka ni Joey King. And wait lang, I'm just going to answer something. Alright, so ano po mapapansin po ninyo sa case ni Angie and Joey King? So si Angie is born male, and siya po ay lumaki na ang pagkilala niya sa sarili niya ay isang babae, pero later on niya pa na-realize yon. No, so matagal as an adult na, no, nung may asawa na siya, no? And dun pa lang niya na-realize talaga na I am actually a woman and who likes women. Sabi niya, di ba? I'm a transgender woman, a woman who likes women as well. So ibig sabihin, yung kanyang gender identity ay isang trans woman, pero ang kanyang gender identity, ang sexual orientation ay homosexual. Ibig sabihin, nagkakagusto siya to the same sex. Okay, so yun po yung nangyari sa case ni Angie King. Kaya it was very difficult for a lot of people to process. It's because yung case ni Angie was, kung titignan po ninyo, hyper-masculine talaga siya before. No? Or owning this huge chain of motels, tapos F1 racer. So napaka-hyper. I met Angie actually before transitioning to Angie. So I've met them. So talagang dashing debonair talaga siya. And then suddenly biglang na lang nag-announce na si Angie na I'm transitioning. No? So ngayon, dun sa relationship nila ni Joey King, actually maganda yung relationship nila dahil Joey King is very supportive, and that Joey actually helped Angie to understand herself better. So sabi po dito na nag-trans daw siya, so tas babae pa lang. Yes, sabi ko nga, pwede pong mangyari yon na ang ating pong gender identity ay hindi po siya automatic yan na kakabit ng ating sexual orientation. So magkaiba po sila ng plane. They exist in one body, they exist in you as a person, but they may separately function. So gender identity ni Angie ay isang transgender, so pinanganak siya ng male, pero ang pakilala niya sa sarili niya ay isang babae. Pero ngayon, ang attraction niya ay attracted siya to other women as well. So kapag according sa classifications ng sexual orientation, ang isang babae na nakakagusto sa kapwa babae ay isang homosexual. Kaya si Angie ay isang lesbian. Lesbian na transgender woman. Kasi ang susundin po natin ay yung identity niya ngayon. Hindi po yung identity niya before. That's the common mistake na na-encounter ng mga tao at laging nagagawa ng mga tao is identifying individuals based on their previous self. Kumbaga, parang ikaw, ayaw mo din naman ma-identify based on your 5-year-old self, di ba? So, well, true, complicated yung story ni Angie. Yeah, that's why siya yung pinili ko na case kasi mas na-highlight natin yung diversity ng sexual orientation and gender identity. Mas nakikita nyo talaga sa buhay nila ni Joey King. So what does that make of Joey King? Joey King is a female born, sex niya by birth ay female, at nung lumaki siya at pagtingin sa sarili niya ay babae, ang pagtingin sa sarili niya ay babae pa rin. So siya ay isang cisgender woman. Whereas si Angie, transgender woman. Ngayon, pagdating mo kay Joey King, kasi kay Joey King di niya naman minention yung kanyang level of attraction eh. Pero sabi niya kasi, I still love Angie the way I love Ian. Sabi niya ganon. Therefore, si Joey King is an example of a person who looked beyond yung physical and whatever na pagkatao nakikita mas panlabas ni Angie. Kumbaga, she loved that person. Period. So, si Joey, in this category, kung titingnan natin sa sexual and romantic orientation, isa po siyang pansexual or panromantic. Ibig sabihin nun, nagkakagusto siya to an individual regardless of their gender or their sex. Nakita niya na yung transition ni Joey at transition ni Angie. So yan po yung case study nilang dalawa. Okay. So anyway, so they are very open naman about their love life and talking about and giving shedding light to their story to other individuals. So I'm using their case study so that you'll be able to understand further. Diba? Okay, so we are told na hanggang 10:40 lang daw tayo for today. So maiksi lang ang oras natin. Pero susubukan pa rin natin makover ang lahat ng kaya natin makover. And if you're interested to know more about this topic, so please do request this sa inyong pong mga educators, sa inyong pong mga sa ating administrators para magkaroon po siya ng part 2. Okay, magkaroon siya ng dagdag na kaalaman pa sa inyo, di ba? Interesting yung topic kasi ito yung topic na maraming nakaka-relate pero wala masyado nakaka-explain as much as comprehensive as it can be, di ba? Kasi usually ang nag-explain, meron din silang mga biases. So mga ganun. Anyway, so going back, punta na natin yung gender expression. Sabi dito ni Jodine, I don't know there is a complicated relationship like that. Actually, there are a lot of people with complicated relationships. Complicated relationships in a way na complicated siya in our standards. For them, it's not complicated. For us, it is complicated because we are using our standards of dapat ganito lang, dapat ganito lang. So meron kasi tayong sariling standards natin yan. At usually, doon natin binabangga. Kaya we find it complicating kasi meron na tayong sariling model na ano yung standard relationship, ano yung dapat, sino yung dapat ma-attract sa sino, anong dapat ginagawa ng sino sa ganito. Kaya meron tayong ganon. Kaya somehow we ended up getting either frustrated or confused. But whenever we drop all of these things and we just listen to them as it is, it's not as complicated as everyone else. They just love each other, period. Diba? So that's it. Ang nagkaka-complicate lang are the people around them and the models that people would want to inject dun sa relationship nila. Kaya nagiging difficult. Tayo din sa experiences natin, sa marami nating mga experiences, sa mga relationships natin that we form, nanonotice ninyo na people would always say na this is how it should be. Dapat ganito ka, dapat yung relationship mo, dapat ganito ka, dapat ganyan siya. All of these are standards set by other people. These are not standards that you set for you and your partner. So again, the relationship is between you and your partner. or partners. No? There are some individuals that would even go into thruples, no? So tatlo or even more. So nasa kanila yan, choice nila yan, as long as they all agree into that situation, they agree in that kind of setup, they understand the pros and cons of this relationship, and they know that a lot of people will not understand. However, they still ventured into that. That's their life, di ba? So yun. Pagdating natin sa gender expression, ito po yung nakikita natin sa panlabas na kaanyuan. And again, a lot of people will always judge you based from your outside, your external self. Kung ano nakikita na sa panlabas. Feminine is usually kung ano yung mga qualities and characteristics that would appear traditionally associated with women. Masculine kapag traditionally affiliated or associated with men. Gender neutral kapag ito naman po ay hindi niya na-identify yung men and women. So, ibig sabihin nun, neutral. Kumbaga, for example, colors are actually neutral. Pero, ginagamit yung pink as a feminine color and blue as a masculine color. White is a gender-neutral color. Gray is a gender-neutral color. Black is a gender-neutral color. So, everyone can actually wear it. Androgynous naman are those individuals who express themselves with a combination of masculine and feminine characteristics. So makikita po ninyo na halo yung suot niya. Example po nito ng mga androgynous na mga individuals would be vice ganda. Vice ganda is an androgynous person. There are times na makikita mo si vice ganda na halo yung kanyang masculine na outfit with a more feminine outfit. There are times na more feminine siya. There are times na halo. So, androgynous yung kanyang gender expression. Yun po yung example para mas madali natin ma-relate. Pagdating natin sa sex characteristics, alam na po natin yung male and female kasi po ito po yung very common to us. Pero yung intersex are individuals man who are born with both male and female characteristics. So, meron po palang ganyan. Yes, meron. However, wala po yan sa Philippines na technology to identify intersex individuals. So wala pa tayong ganung technology na advanced. Kaya ang mga intersex individuals, nalalaman lang nila na intersex sila kapag sila ay tumungtong na ng adolescence. O yung adolescence, yung pag-puberty. Kasi doon pa lang nagde-develop yung pangalawang ari. Doon pa lang siya nagmamature. Kaya doon pa lang nila napapansin na meron pala silang isa pang ari. And maaaring, to some intersex individuals, they have both mature male and female reproductive sex or reproductive organs. Pwede silang mabuntis, pwede din silang makabuntis. So meron pong mga ganyang individuals. Such as in the case of Jeff Kagandahan. Jeff Kagandahan in 2008 ay nag-file po siya sa Supreme Court na pabaguhin ang kanyang identity at ang kanyang legal identity from male to female to male. No? Wala po tayong batas in the Philippines that will recognize transgender individuals to change their gender identity into legal documents. Pero meron for intersex individuals. According to the Supreme Court, they mentioned the term intersexuality. So the first time that they mentioned this sa case ni Jeff Kagandahan. And they agreed that for individuals na meron pong congenital adrenal hyperplasia or a rare condition na kung saan nagpapakita ng mature both male and female sex characteristics, therefore, papipiliin nila yung individual kung ano yung gusto niyang i-retain. That's not the case for transgender individuals, only for intersex individuals. Kaya si Jeff Kagandahan ng kauna-unahang intersex individual in the Philippines na inalaw ng Supreme Court na pabaguhin ang lahat ng kanyang mga birth documents, government IDs into Jeff from Jennifer. Yan, siya pa lang ang pagkakaalam ko na merong ganitong klaseng case sa Philippines. So, pagdating natin sa mga transgender individuals, hindi pa siya inaalaw, wala pa tayong ganung batas. But in Spain, meron silang ganung batas na nagkumikilala na ang mga transgender individuals can change their birth sex. Kaya nga sa case ni Angela Ponce, na sumali ng Miss Universe time ni Catriona Gray, ay kinilala siya as a woman. And therefore, she can join Miss Universe pageant. Kasi legally speaking, doon sa kanyang country of origin, kinikilala siya na babae. In the Philippines po, pwede po ba mangyari na isang transgender na woman ay pwedeng sumali ng Miss Universe? Unfortunately, hindi po pwede. Dahil legally speaking, ang documents mo pa din ay male. So dahil wala pa tayong ganung batas na kumikilala ng mga gender identity, or confirming gender identities, therefore, hindi pa pwede. Pero mali natin in the future, when we continue to advocate at mas malawak ng pag-intindi ng mga tao regarding gender identities, then there is an opportunity for individuals, to actually transgender individuals to join these kinds of endeavors. How about for those individuals na mga trans athletes naman? Kasi ito issue talaga to, lalo na with the latest Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Yung pagsali ng isang transgender na woman sa weightlifting division ng mga kababaihan. A lot of people protested and said na meron siyang undue advantage, dapat hindi daw siya pinasali, etc. etc. And then eventually, this trans woman athlete actually lost. Hindi naman siya nanalo. So, hindi po totoo yung minimension nila na merong undue advantage yung mga trans athletes versus the cisgender athletes. Again, ang pinababasihan ng International Olympic Committee is the number or the level of the estrogen and the testosterone sa isang tao para ma-identify mo siya sa male division or sa female division. In the case of Caster Nemeni, isa po siyang biologically born female na athlete in Africa at mataas ang kanyang testosterone level. Kaya sobrang bilis niya din talagang tumakbo na to the point na wala talaga, undefeated talaga siya. Pero biologically born female siya. So ano pong ibig sabihin ba nito? Kung susundin po ba natin yung testosterone level, dapat ba doon na siya sa male division? Kasi ang kanyang testosterone level ay way above the roof. So may mga ganyang klaseng mga debates until now sa International Olympic Committee na hindi pa nila nasa-settle. Kaya kung ako yung tatanungin, baka hindi na yung division based on sex, baka division based on capacity. Baka mas maganda na ganun yung klase na division na gawin natin. Parang kagaya sa boxing na weight division, parang meron sa certain weight or certain category that you have to meet. And then once we're able to meet that category, then pwede kang sumali whether you're a male or a female. May mga ganun siya. Diba? So yan yung mga topic until now. So anyway, so yan po, ang current culture natin ay heteronormative. Ibig sabihin nun that our current culture is still sumusunod doon sa mga heterosexuals, yung kanilang mga pangangailangan, mga needs, etc. Okay? And dahil nga po yan nanggaling sa paniniwala na binary model. So yung dalawa lang po ang sex at gender sa buong mundo, wala nang iba. Period. Ito pong binary model na to ay matagal na, and actually outdated na siya. Gender spectrum na po ang ginagamit ng iba pang mga scientific mga experts at saka yung iba pang mga nag-aaral on gender and sexuality. Gender spectrum, ang ibig sabihin po nito is that the understanding that gender is not binary but it is bimodal. Ano ibig sabihin ng bimodal? Kung bibilangin po natin yung dami ng taong na pinapanganak sa mundo, at yung mga characteristics na meron sila, makakategorize mo sila into two modes, male and female. Pero meron pang iba pang mga modes, marami pang iba pang mga characteristics somewhere. Hindi lang siya exclusive to male and female only. Kaya yung pag sinasabi sa atin na dalawa lang naman ang pinanganak sa mundo, babae at saka lalaki, binary system ang ginagamit nila. Walang nag-exist somewhere in the middle, walang nag-exist outside of that spectrum. Pero gender spectrum is more inclusive at mas updated. Kumbaga, yun yung according sa science at according sa mga pag-aaral, mas marami pong mga tao nag-exist within a spectrum. Kaya ngayon, kaya sabi nila, bakit patuloy na humahaba yung mga letra ng LGBTQIA tapos kung ano-ano ng mga letra? It's because patuloy nating pinag-aaralan yung mga human personalities, sexualities, at dahil patuloy natin siya pinag-aaralan, mas nakaka-discover pa tayo. Parang similar lang po yan sa pag-discover ng mga bagong species ng animals. Diba? So marami po tayo na-discover because we continue to look for the truth and look for new ways to learn. Ba? Mayroong mga pagbabago ba? And one thing that you will understand is gender is affected at birth. Ang tawag dito ay gendered sexuality. So bata ka pa lang, pinapataw na sa'yo ng lipunan kung ano yung tingin niya na dapat. And usually, if you're born male, you're expected to be attracted to the opposite sex and vice versa. Ngayon, yung sinasabi ko nga kanina sa mga queer deities, di ba? Yung mga Filipino natin, bago pa lang dumating ang mga Kastila, meron na po tayong mga representation of queer or queer ibig sabihin mga LGBTQIA individuals, no? Sa mga folklores natin. Si Libulan, ang god of the moon ng mga Katagalugan, at si Libulan ay meron po siyang jowa. Ang jowa niya ay si Sidapa. Si Sidapa ang god of darkness. And sa Katagalugan, si Libulan ay isang gorgeous na lalaki at na may boyfriend na isang makisig na lalaki din. And it's widely accepted in the Katagalugan region na sila ay magjowa. So sila po yung first depiction of a gay god or gay gods in the Philippines. Sila Kapati naman ang first description ng isang transgender god. So, or isang intersex god. So, sila Kapati, according sa description ni Pedro de San Buenaventura sa kanyang Vocabulario de Lengua Tagala in 1613, sila Kapati daw ay meron siyang ang katawan at characteristics ng both male and female. So, yun po yung description. Kaya, makikita po ninyo na sila Kapati ang nire-rever siya ng mga individuals as the transgender god or the intersex god. And during the time, ang mga anak daw, ang mga firstborn ay inaalay sa kanya para sa isang magandang ani. Yan ang description nila Kapati. So bago pa lang dumating ang mga Kastila, buhay na po ang mga LGBTQIA individuals. Meron na po tayong representation through folklore. Even yung mga babaylan po natin, they are considered to be a mixture of masculine and feminine spirits. And that it's widely accepted in Philippine culture. Ayan. So, dito na lang muna tayo, no? Dahil meron daw tayong time limit for today. And then maybe we can entertain some questions for you. So, I hope that you learned something for today. At maraming salamat din sa napaka-busy chat box natin at maraming mga nag-share ng kanilang mga opinions at kanilang mga saloobin. So, ayan. So dito na po muna tayo magtatapos para sa usapin natin on gender identity, sexual orientation. Joy, naka-mute ka. And maybe we can entertain some questions if you have some. You can type it in your chat box or maybe you can if you want to speak. Yes, Joy, go.
Sorry, sir. Yes. Thank you so much. Na-amaze lang po ako sa talk nyo. Sobrang informative, sobrang relevant, and kitang-kita naman na very participative yung mga students natin kasi they love the topic. And yes.
Oo nga, ang ingay ng chat box. Nakakatawa.
sobrang responsive. And yes, I guess we can have like just a quick questions from our students. Sir, yeah. Is it okay po?
Sure.
Medyo bilisan lang po natin kasi meron pa po tayong isa pang resource speaker for today.
Alright.
Sobrang ganda ng topic niyo po. Okay, we have here first question. Sir, ano po yung meaning ng SOGIE?
So actually, nakapakita ko na po yun kanina sa slide. No? Yeah. SOGIE, SO meaning sexual orientation, GI is gender identity, and letter E is gender expression. Ayan. So yun yung sabihin ng mga words na yun. Okay.
So, ayun. I think wala nang ibang. Sir, how about po if meron po kaming mga questions, how can we reach out to you po if ever meron kaming mga kailangan clarifications, mga ganyan lang po. How can we able to reach out to you?
Yeah. I'm all over social media. So you can find me in Twitter, in LinkedIn, in Facebook. So you just have to search my name and I'll be there. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, my dear
So yeah.
students. So I guess you can message directly Sir Alvin Dakis, and I am sure he will respond it pag di naman siya busy. And
Yeah.
yun po. So we are hoping to have more engagements with you soon, sir. Sobrang na-amaze kahit sa GC po namin mga faculty, na-amaze kami sa mga ano nyo, sa topics nyo.
May isang question pala dito. Si Ken, sabi niya, Sir, how does socialization shape a person's self-image? Actually, according to a lot of studies, no, nakakaapekto talaga yung socialization sa kung paano natin nakikita yung sarili natin as of now. And many of us, actually, kahit kayo mismo, hindi tayo aware dito sa socialization na yan. No? Nakakuha natin yan from our parents, nakakuha natin yan from the people around us, and that shape kung ano yung values natin, behaviors, that shape ko yung perceptions natin of other people. Eventually, as you grow older, this self-image will be solidified. So, ibig sabihin nun, mas kinikilala mo yung sarili mo. And mapapansin po ninyo na yung mga ibang mga paniniwala ng mga magulang mo, hindi mo na pinaniniwalaan. Yung ibang pinapractice ng mga taong nakapaligid sa'yo, hindi mo na siya pinapractice. It's because nagkaroon na kayo ng sarili mong self-image. Pero that process is a long process, even until death. No? Yung iba, mas mabilis yung processing nila, mas mabilis na na-realize yun. Sa others naman, hindi, mas mabagal. So it's more of a personal growth. Pero tama ka na it does affect socialization. Yung socialization, nakaka-apekto yan ng ating self-image. Yan. Sabi dito ng isang participant naman, siguro ito na po yung panghuli dahil meron po tayong isang speaker. Earlier that we are talking about religion as one of the factor or the agents of socialization. So how can we relate gender and sexual orientation to the rules biblically and spiritually? All right, well, just to specifically answer that question, there are no specific written text about sexual orientation and gender identity in the Bible because it wasn't even born that time yet. Hindi pa siya na-identify during that time. And the Bible was created with a historical context in mind. Kumbaga, meron din silang culture of their own during that time. And even meron siyang lost in translation. Even the Council of Nicaea, the ones who created the current Bible that we have right now, ang dami din nilang mga text na hindi sinama sa current Bible that we have right now. So we also need to understand the history of how the Bible was actually formed and how these texts were translated. So hindi po siya ganun kasing accurate compared with the cultural context of that time. So we need to understand first their history, their culture, their politics during that time para mas maintindihan natin kung nasan ba talaga yung konsepto ng homosexuality or being gay in their time. But is it possible na nag-exist ba yung mga gay people even the time of Jesus and even before Jesus? The answer is yes. Dahil marami pong mga historical characters, historical persons that existed predating Jesus that actually na meron po talaga silang meron silang homosexual person na hindi lang siya na ipuput in paper, diba? So yun, regarding yung sa Sodom and Gomorrah, actually I cannot explain that fully to you because I'm not a Bible scholar, but actually that one is not talking about homosexuality. It's talking about sexual promiscuity in general. So marami talaga siya. Hindi lang siya nakatutok sa iisang grupo ng tao lang. They're talking about the acts itself. So may mga ganun talaga siya na mga many of these things that we need to understand first so that we'll be able to fully appreciate what the Bible is actually telling us. Ganun pa man, we also have to focus on what the message of the Bible is. The message of the Bible is very clear. To love your neighbor as you love yourself. So lagi siyang may gumagano. No? So we have to focus on the more positive aspects of that. Because maraming negative aspects ang Bible, to be honest. So, and if you wanted to really follow the Bible as like really follow it very, very strictly, then ang dami nating violations. Ako mismo may tattoo, hindi pwede. Wearing clothes of different nahibla, bawal, mga ganyan. Ang daming bawal, no? Ito kasi ay kanilang historical and cultural context. Okay? So, ayan. If you're an LGBT couple daw and if you want to go to church, can you be accepted? Because in the Bible, that is the kind of the relationship that's forbidden. Depending on what church you're actually talking to, there are churches that are accepting and very open to LGBT couples or LGBT individuals. There are some churches that are not. Example po nito will be the Catholic Church, some Christian churches, hindi talaga sila open. So which means that you just have to find a church that would reflect the value that you actually have. And if the church doesn't respect you for who you are as person, perhaps that is not the right church for you. Baka yun yung isa sa pwede natin no? Hindi naman tayo limitado sa isang church lang. So pwede ding wala kang church, if you don't want to practice any religion, but you have your own spirituality. But that's another topic altogether in a separate session. So I guess that's all for today. Ang dami pong mga follow-up questions, no? Pero maraming salamat sa marami po ninyong mga tanong. That means you're very interested. So Joy, take it away.
Okay, so there you go. Thank you so much, sir. Hindi matapos-tapos yung mga questions eh. Sobrang responsive and participative. And so we are running out of time naman kasi we just hope that we will have another engagement with you, sir, very soon. And at this juncture, let us now award the Certificate of Recognition to which citation reads, Certificate of Recognition is given to Alvin Cloydakis for his shared expertise as resource speaker on sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression of SOGIE during the Dayon sa STCS and onboarding program for first semester school year 2021 to 2022. Given the 7th day of October 2021 via Zoom at BiPSU Naval Campus, Naval Biliran, signed by University President 3 Victor C. Canyazo Jr. Again, thank you so much, Sir Dakis. God bless you po and you keep safe.
Thank you din everyone. Have a great day and enjoy the entire day. Yeah.
Sir, before po tayo mag-answer, photo ops muna. Guys, my dear students, can you turn on your camera first? Sir Kiraz, Sir PM, Sir Titoy, Sir Reynold, our chairpersons, Ma'am Chona. So,
Sir Alvin, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for inviting me.
We hope to have more engagement with you. The GAD office is already planning to have series of activities with you.
Hi, Ellen.
Imagine niyo na lang noon na natuturo ako sa university kung gaano kagulo ang klase ko dahil ito ang tinuturo ko. Di ba? They're like
1.5
everywhere.
hour per class.
I allow my students to express themselves talaga. So yan. Also, please open your camera so that we can have photo naman. Para makita ko rin naman kayo.
Guys, wow. Smile. Okay, there you go. Thank you again, Sir Dakis. God bless you po and you keep safe. And to our participants, meron pa po tayong isang speaker, which is another, what do you call this? Yes, another activity, yung si Sir Domen, grabe yung mga activities din niyang gagawin later. And then I guess we will have a short game after Sir Domen's talk. Okay, so before we proceed to the next talk, let us first have an inspirational message. Yes, from our Vice President we have Dr. Erwin Salvachera for our inspirational talk.
To our University President, Dr. Victor C. Canyazo Jr., to my fellow Vice Presidents, Dr. Rosino B. Romero, Dr. Susan Isbintor, Dr. Marian Mendoza, to the School of Technology and Computer Studies Dean, Dr. Chuna Sabinay, our dear faculty, students, ladies and gentlemen, good day. The challenges brought about the pandemic not only changes in the education landscape, but as well as the way we go about our daily lives and routines. Adjusting to the new normal is difficult because of many factors. Yet we must go on because academic freeze is not an option and time wasted is a time lost. Alternatives and learning modalities are resorted in order to establish learning continuity. As students, some of you may have lost the interest and motivation to continue your studies because you lack faith in the new system of education. But whether you like it or not, as time changes and advances, universities will adapt technology and convert to smart universities. Your experience and opportunity in the new normal will serve as your training ground when education fully shifts to online and borderless. However, difficulties and challenges are part of making us resilient. Problems with digital device, network connectivity are the major obstacles you always have to hurdle, whether there are synchronous classes. But my dear students, success is sweeter when you overcome those trials and difficulties. Hence, your teacher and friend, I encourage all of you to hold on to your faith that this will come to pass. And we are here to assist and help you finish your educational journey. We are partners in this endeavor. Therefore, we cannot do this alone. And we need your cooperation and willingness to learn beyond all of these challenges. To all mentors and teachers, we also have our own share of doubts that we will not be able to live up to the expectations of our students, because no matter how hard we try to give our best, barriers are always present in the delivery of these lessons. Network connectivity is always one major reason why we fail sometimes to conduct our synchronous classes. It also affects our financial stability, since we spend for data subscriptions and it will be taken out of our own pocket. Yet, we have to make sacrifices in order to perform our duties and responsibilities as knowledge providers. I am also encouraging everyone to be steadfast, healthy, and strong, because the stress brought about by the shift to the new normal renders most of us physically and mentally weak. We are all in this together, and we will overcome this. Lastly, let me leave with this quote: "There's a rainbow always after the rain," as the song goes. And no matter how hard life is, it is not worth quitting. There's always a solution to all problems, and quitting does not solve it. Once again, welcome to Biliran Province State University. Thank you and good day.
Thank you so much, Mr. Irwin, for your inspiring words that you have shared. And now let us not wait for our second talk this morning to introduce us to our second resource speaker. We have our STCS faculty, Ms. Christine Sarsalejo.
Good morning, everyone. Let me have the honor to introduce to you our next resource speaker. He finished Bachelor of Science in Information Technology from St. Paul University, Dumaguete in 2012. Currently on thesis for Master of Development Communication, Master of Information Systems at University of the Philippines, Open University. One of the 10 outstanding students of the Philippines of Central Visayas 2012. One of the 30 outstanding students of the Philippines 2012 National with awarding held in the Malacanang Palace. Represented the country as a delegate in various international conferences including Singapore, Malaysia, Japan, and India. Worked as worked as a technical support engineer in the IT operations department of a technology company in Dumaguete City for more than 4 years. Currently, a part-time university instructor teaching IT subjects including IT fundamentals, desktop publishing, information security, and assurance. Currently, a project development officer at the Department of Information and Communication Technology Visayas, Cluster 2 under the ICT Industry Development Bureau.
Yes, Ms. Joy, I think we can do away with the introduction.
Yes po, sir. Proceed na lang po tayo.
All
Good
right,
morning
sige.
po.
So, good morning, Ms. Joy, and thank you, Ms. Tin.
Good morning. I'm really sorry, sir.
No
The
problem.
internet connection is really hard here. It's
There's no
unstable.
problem. No worries with that. No, it's okay. Um, sige, it's nice to see BiPSU STCS once again. No, this is not my first time. Just a week ago, I was with the teachers for the onboarding program. No, so I was with Miss Joy, Sir Evan, Sir Paul, Sir Toots, and all the rest. No, and now I will be with the students or the incoming students. And it is not my first time to be with the students, because if I remember it right, a few months back or a year ago, I also delivered a talk about the careers in IT. And so I am excited, no, to be with the incoming freshmen and some of the students as well who are also on Facebook. No? So allow me to share my screen. All right. I hope you can already see my screen. No? All right. So good morning once again. My task for today is to deliver a talk about the techniques, netiquette, and applications or tech tools for online learning. This is actually a repeat performance from last week, no? Although I have modified some of the contents here to tailor fit for our students in STCS. So sa mga teachers, this is a repeat performance. Disclaimer lang. You will hear mostly the same presentation I delivered last week, no? So okay, I'll try to squeeze in, no? With the remaining time, I'll try to squeeze in what I will deliver this morning. Although we will skip some parts. So here is our outline for this morning session for the remainder of the morning, no? Key concept and terms about the digital classroom setup, a slight overview of the learning management system platforms, an overview of video conferencing platforms. For the last two topics, these are actually the topics that I am more excited, no? So we will skim na lang the mga overviews of LMS and video conferencing platforms. The interactive web applications that can be used in digital learning, no? So for our students, disclaimer lang, we will have a lot of interactive or interactions where we will be using web applications today. So if you can bring out your extra device like your cell phone or your tablet or your laptop, no, so that we can participate well for our activities that you can use, no, as you go with your journey as students, as college students now. And then lastly, we will have digital classroom netiquette. So for those who are in Facebook, I would there is a slight delay, no, with our live streaming. So For those who are in Zoom, I would really appreciate if you participate in our interactive applications a little later. So I hope you have your extra devices with you. Okay, now let's begin with explaining the basic concepts in education, especially now that we have the pandemic now, and we have to resort to a new kind of education. Okay, because there are a lot of misconceptions, or there are a lot of misuse of terms, no? So first, we have the traditional classroom learning. This is the kind of learning, this is the kind of setup that we had pre-pandemic, wherein we are confined to the four walls or to the four corners of the classroom, and then both the teacher and the students are there physically interacting with each other face to face, no? It is live, it is happening right then and there, no? Wherein the teacher is perhaps on the blackboard or whiteboard, and the students are sitting, no, on their desks, on their chairs, perhaps. So that is the traditional classroom learning that we know of. And then we have what we call as the digital classroom learning. Digital classroom learning is where it involves devices, it involves other medium, and is the new kind of way of learning as compared to the traditional classroom setting, wherein the students are seated and the teacher is there, no, physically. But in the digital classroom learning, we have devices, we have other medium to make use of. There is still a learning, there is still an exchange of communication, but we are separately divided from each other. And this is actually the resort that we had to come up with because of the pandemic that happened, wherein some age group are not allowed to go outside, diba? Because there is the risk of contracting the virus, diba? So we resorted to this kind of learning. And when we talk about digital classroom learning, there are actually three concepts that we have to know of. First is distance learning. So distance learning is a kind of learning wherein we are geographically apart from each other. Students may be living abroad, and the teacher is in one location, say for example the Philippines, no? Or perhaps we are in the same province, but we are geographically apart. We are not in the school learning. We are not in the classroom learning, no? So that is distance learning. Then we have what we call as open learning. So this is a common misconception, no? When we talk about open learning, it is where there is a kind of system that is employed for the education to happen, and this is what we call as LMS, no? So the students and the teachers meet in the LMS, and the teacher just leaves faculty mark assignments. They leave modules in the LMS, and it is up for the students to do the tasks, to do the assignments. So mostly, or most often than not, they do not meet in live online classes, but they do they have deadlines to beat for a certain task, for a certain sit work or assignment, no? And open learning is not actually new in the Philippine education system, because I myself, along with Sir Paul Matthew, we are actually students, master students in the University of the Philippines Open University, and UPOU has been there for 25 years already. So even before the pandemic, even before COVID-19, there was already a present open university kind of learning in the Philippines. No, UPOU is there. Even Polytechnic University has an open learning, and there are other institutions that have an open learning kind of digital classroom. And then we also have what we call as e-learning. So e-learning is where we use electronic devices. We use laptops, we use mobile phones, we use desktops and tablets for us to do this kind of education. So some kind of learning involves the three, like distance learning. It is also an open learning, and it is also an e-learning because it uses gadgets, no, or gizmos or devices. But not all e-learning is an open learning kind of digital classroom setting, diba? Because there is an e-learning wherein you really have to participate synchronously, no? There is a live discussion and you have to participate. Whereas in open learning, the teachers just leave their modules for the students to do their tasks and to do their assignments, and they have to beat the deadline. Just come back to the LMS. No, that's why it is natural. It is natural in our university with Sir Paul Matthew na there is a lot of cramming that happens. Unya na lang mo gama og assignment or task pag hapit na ang deadline. No? That's one disadvantage of open learning because the teachers do not how do you call this? They are not after, no? It is an independent kind of learning, so they will not remind you most of the time that the deadline is coming. They will just be there when the deadline is already there, and they will ask for your submissions. No, so these are some of the concepts in a digital classroom setup that are actually misconceived, no, or na jumble na, no, ang mga concepts about this. Now, there are two modes involved in a digital classroom setup. First is the online, or this is what we call asynchronous. No, this is the live kind of discussion. Our class begins at 8 a.m. and you should be there, both the teacher and the students, to do the lesson, no, or to do the learning. Then we have what we call as offline and blended, or this is what we also know of as asynchronous. And under the asynchronous mode, we have the analog and the digital. What differs about analog and digital is the medium that is used for the learning to happen. So for analog, what materials are used? We have books, we have handouts, we have radio and TV. No, if we look at how DepEd has done their school year just recently, no, they used modules, no, they used handouts, diba, for them to deliver the instructions to their students. Before around 1960s or 70s, there was already a kind of learning using radio towers, no, and radios to facilitate the learning. And then now we have the DepEd TV, diba, wherein you can learn through watching the DepEd TV channel, no? So that is also a kind or an example of an analog. Then in digital, we make use of various electronic devices like desktop, laptop, tablet, and smartphones to facilitate this kind of learning, right? I think that is easy to differentiate, no? Synchronous and asynchronous. Now we have three transmissions when we do a digital classroom setup. First is radio, wherein through radio towers, this already happened before, no, mga 1960s, na they use radio towers to do and facilitate their learning, wherein the students are just at home and they use radios, no, to foster the learning. And then we also have the use of the internet. So our LMS, no, the one that we are doing right now, we are making use of the internet to transmit our learning, no. And then we have what we call as sneakernet. All right, basing on the logo. Perhaps this is the first time for you to hear this, no, mga students. Any idea of what SneakerNet is? Wala? Anyone who can, without Googling, without making use of the internet? Anyone who makes you, who knows of SneakerNet, you can chat it. So we have from Jodine Personal, all right? Okay. Yeah, yes, Jodine, you're actually there, no? In SneakerNet, this is the kind of transmission that DepEd employs now, no? Somehow, di ba, where parents go to the schools and they get the instructional materials through the modules, no? And they go back at home. In SneakerNet, it has the same principle. There is a carrier of the learning materials, but they make use of peripheral devices or external memories, just like micro SDs or SD cards and USB flash drives. That's why you see on our logo there is a sneaker, or there is a shoe, and then there are also icons of our peripheral devices, because these carriers, instead of the modules now of the paper-based handouts that DepEd does, or DepEd provides to the students, they in SneakerNet they actually use electronic devices and external devices. All right. Now, of course, we have advantages and disadvantages of a digital classroom. First, we have an advantage is that there is a safety, of course, in the comforts of our homes. Diba? We have the virus out there lurking behind, and so if possible, we should stay at home and do not leave our homes, or else we will contract the virus. Also, we have freedom and control, diba? As students, you have your control of your time, diba? Most especially that some schools have flexibility, no, in their schedule, and so you can control your time. You need not to take a bath perhaps and go to your school, which leads to the third advantage. No, there is no hassle going to school, especially for those who are commuting. Our students are commuting, or who are riding public utility vehicles. No, you just stay at home to do your classes and to learn. And then students learn the value of priority and responsibility, of course, no? Since you are on your own, somehow you are independently doing your tasks. So you learn the value of priority and responsibility. And also the power of technology gets utilized, no? Because of the advent of the pandemic, where people have relied into the use of the internet, there is a demand, no, from consumers, from customers. So our telcos, they also adjusted. They are after the wants and the needs of the customers, no. So some telcos lowered their prices, or some telcos maximized their speed for a certain plan. And so the power of technology is actually utilized. And if there's one thing the pandemic brought us, no, it is that telcos become more competitive of each other. Before, diba, we only have duopoly of Smart and Globe, or PLDT and Globe. Now we have Adito as a mobile provider, and then we also have coming into the scene right now is Converge and Eastern Communication. So I'm not sure if they have already reached your locality, but here in Cebu and other parts, no, of the metropolitan areas, there are already around 5 players, no, who are present in the scene. So someday they will reach your area, no, because of the growing demand of the internet. Of course, we also have the cons, the disadvantages, like technical problems are inevitable, diba? Mag-brown out, perhaps there are glitches in the internet connectivity, in the specs of your laptop or desktop or of your mobile devices, no? Really, technical problems will be there. And then not all students can go online, which is, of course, we should all understand, no? We have students who are financially challenged. Our parents could not send us to an online kind of learning because we have to buy devices, diba? We have to have internet connection, and not just an internet connection, but a good, a stable, and reliable connection, di ba? So that there will be no cuts and delays in the education. Then there are plenty of distractions, di ba? Ako, I myself, when we had work from home set up in the earlier days of the pandemic, the bed, no, is a temptation. The sofa, the couch is a temptation, wherein I would rather go to sleep than attend meetings, di ba? So there are a lot of distractions also. Then perhaps you have a noisy background, di ba? You have roosters of your neighbors behind you, or there are dogs barking. So there are actually a lot of distractions that happen. There is a likelihood of not conforming to deadlines, of course, di ba? You have reasons like, ma'am, there is no internet, or sir, nag-brown out in our area, and so you have to ask for considerations, and sometimes deadlines are omitted, you know? And finally, it just doesn't feel natural. And I think all of us would agree, no? Lain ra gyud or lahi ra gyud ang 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 setup wherein you are with your teacher and your fellow classmates in the four corners of the room, and there is a discussion that is happening, as compared to a digital kind of setup or an online class wherein it's just so unnatural, no? All right, so that is a disadvantage. Now, there is one line though that for me is subjective, and that is online classes may be expensive or inexpensive. So I will leave this up to you, no? To you as students, on how you answer this, if online classes are expensive or inexpensive, because there are some indirect factors that would make you consider na classes would be inexpensive or expensive. Like, say for example, you don't have to perhaps wear uniforms when you go to school, or you don't have to ride and pay for public transportation to go to school because you're at home. But on the other hand, diba, the bills are skyrocketing because you are at home, and so you make use of the internet, you make use of electricity or perhaps water. So this is a gray area, 50-50, no? Whether online classes are expensive or not. So what do you think as students, no? Are online classes expensive or are they inexpensive? I would appreciate if you answer in our chat panel, no? So that we also discuss, no, how we go with our incoming school year. All right, most of you are answering expensive. Internet is expensive. I would agree, no? So if we think of it as expensive, no, maybe we should tweak a little of our principle. Maybe we should take it as an investment, no? We should take this education as an investment, because in the end, you will get something from it, no? Perhaps after 4 or 5 years, no, you will reap your rewards. So let's tell na lang our parents that these are actually an investment for them, no? All right, but I will still leave it up to you whether online classes are expensive or not. So are you ready for classes again under the new normal? That is the question. So learning management system, or LMS, is the bridge between our school or our teachers and the students. And I think we can skip this topic because I'm not sure now, but I think you have discussed about LMS yesterday, Bato, or maybe a few days ago. And so we can skim on this, but in case you need to make use of LMS, these are some. I will be displaying some of the commonly used LMS that are being used right now. In the future, maybe you can make use, or you can have this as your options, no? And so I will not discuss them one by one, but in case you want to have an in-depth knowledge about the LMS that we have, then you can go on and check on my channel. I have a specific video there for the LMS virtual platform. So we have Moodle. This is what we use in UP, and I I think this is also what you'll be using for BiPSU. Then we have Google Classroom, we have Edmodo, we have Quipper, we have Talent LMS, we have Blackboard, we have Schoology, we have MindFlash, we have Docebo, and we also have Canvas. No, this is the Canvas with S, not the Canva that perhaps some of you know of, no, for graphic editing. Also, I will be sharing naman my slides, no, after this discussion. So you can, if you want to read this, then I'll be sharing it to you so that we can skim and go over this part. So we also have video or telephony conferencing, wherein this is where we meet, no? This is where students and teachers meet for synchronous learning, no? For the online, the live learning, no? So I will show to you some of the commonly used platforms, although we will just again go over this, no? Since I think most of you already have your preferred, sa mga teachers, you have your preferred video, telephony, or conferencing platforms, although we have the best one for reliable or large video calls, the one we are using right now, which is Zoom. No, this is by far the most efficient video conferencing app to date. Then for G Suite users, you have Google Meet. For Google Classroom users, no, this you already have your built-in, and for edu.ph domains, no, you have Google for Education embedded in your accounts, no. You have unlimited storage, no, for those with edu.ph. Then for Microsoft or Office 365 users, you can make use of Microsoft Teams. In my case, in our school where I am teaching part-time, this is what we make use also, no, and it has now transitioned into an LMS also, Microsoft Teams. We also have the best one for professional features. We have GoToMeeting, no, because they have extra features that some video apps do not have. So you can opt for GoToMeeting. If you want a lightweight option, say for example, you just want to quickly meet with your students aside from a messenger call or Facebook Messenger call, we also have Join Me, no? So for virtual whiteboarding, especially if our teachers want to write coding, no, perhaps in written, then you can make use of Cisco WebEx. All right. So once again, I will not go into full detail of maneuvering those tools, no, because we will maximize our time. Although you can go and check my department or from where I'm working right now. We have actually video tutorials in our Facebook page. That is the ICT FOOVC2. Wherein Biliran province is also under, no, since we are a Visayas cluster 2. We have both region 7 and region 8 in our cluster. So you can check out my colleagues' discussion about the video conferencing tools. So this is perhaps the meat of our discussion today. So maybe you can start bringing out your extra devices right now, no? It would be beneficial for you to have your laptop or your desktop and then another device so that we can participate well in our applications or tools. No, these are actually tools that you can make use of in our classes. No, so perhaps I think there are also reportings, no, for students. And for you students, if you want to make your classes more or your reporting more interactive, so that your fellow classmates can interact, no, lively with you, then you can make use of the following tools, no, or of the following applications. So for those with perhaps one cell phone lang, no, or one device, that is still okay, you know. Multitasking na lang siya, diba? In your phones, no? So it's okay, there is no problem. So these tools or these applications are used for surveys. They're used for quizzes, for online quizzes. The most commonly used ones are Google Forms and Microsoft Forms. So perhaps your teachers can actually will actually give you some Google Forms link, no, for you to answer your sit work or your quiz. But aside from these two, because the two leading forms now is Google Forms and Microsoft Forms, we also have options like WP Forms, Formidable Forms, Zoho Forms, Form Builder, Typeform, and Cognito Form. So you can make use of this. Perhaps you will become members or officers of clubs or class. No, so if you want, if you want to make a registration form, perhaps of your online event, then you can make use of these forms aside from quizzes and assignments, right? And I have an in-depth discussion about this form or on how to use Google Forms. Then you can check again my channel for the in-depth discussion about that now. Okay, now we have URL shorteners or customizers. So these are the sites where you have to go so that if, say for example, you have a very long URL, no? Say for example, your teacher will be asking for a URL or a link of your submission, then, di ba usually taas man yun na siya, you can shorten them and you can customize them using these links, no? These are actually free, like tiny.cc, bit.ly, and shorturl.at, among others, no? In bit.ly, you have to log in, no? And you have to sign up for your own account. But in tinycc, diretso na siya. You can go to the link and make your own. And sige. Just a quick overview of tinycc, no? So that we can actually see it in flesh on how we can use of tinycc. So say for example, this is our tiny.cc na homepage, and say for example, you have a very long link to give to your professor, to your mom or sir. Say for example, you have youtube.com/blah blah blah, and di ba taas na siya kayo, and it might be a pain to the eyes, no, to your teacher. So you just have to put it here or place your link there, and then you can customize it, no? So say for example, BiPSU 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you just have to click on the shorten button after nominating your customized form, and then maybe another link. Okay, it does not. But anyways, I had an example already before. I think there is something wrong with the hyperlinking, no, or the linking of Facebook generic social media websites. So let's make believe na lang na it is successful. So there is a button here wherein it shortens what you have nominated, and then it also on this button here, the third one, this is actually for you to create or for you to generate a QR code, no? So you just have to copy this image, and that also leads you to the same link. All right. So si ma'am or sir will be impressed. No, he has given me a QR code. Wow, this student is techie. Diba? All right. So you can make use of tinycc, and you can also make use of bit.ly, among others. Okay. All right. Now, we also have an anonymous polling na applications. We have Mentimeter and AHA Slides. So you can make use of these applications for you to create an anonymous polling with your fellow classmates, with the class, no? So let's do an example. No? So I hope you can bring out your devices. And then all right. So class, I want you to go to menti.com using your devices, no? Just go to menti.com through your browsers. And then you will be asked for a code, no? And once you're asked for a code, please type in the one that you see on the screen. That is 4766 0597. And you will be asked for a certain question. Now, as you can see in the screen right now, we have here word cloud, no? Wherein the live answers of those who have access or those who are accessing your Menti right now can be seen. So we already have an answer like burger, no? We also have spaghetti. So do we also have other answers? What do you want to eat right now? The question is there, no? What do you want to eat right now? And you have to submit your answer. So our answers to our question are coming in right now. We have burger, spaghetti, fries. Diba? How about the others? We already have 4 answers right now. Sushi, no? We have cocolates without H. Now, as you can see, this is a live polling right now that is happening. This is what we call as word cloud, wherein your answers will be reflected in our screen. So we already have answers like pizza. All right, so good to know, no? Candies, especially that our lunch is nearing, no? So samgyup, milk tea, all right? Makaguto man inyong mga ano, no? Inyong mga answers. So this is an example of our anonymous polling wherein, diba, you were not asked for a name, you were not asked for you're not asked to register, just you're just asked for your code, and then you can answer immediately. So this is how Menti works, no? For online polling. So thank you for those who answered. We have 9 answers. Okay, and answers are coming in. So by the way, the texts with biggest fonts actually have multiple answers already. So meaning to say we have multiple answers for pizza because it has the biggest font right now, because it doesn't duplicate, no? Or it doesn't repeat ang mga answers, but the font of our text goes bigger. Oh, so we have isaw, fried dugo, wow, menudo. So I think our lunch is being served na, right? So thank you for answering. We have 16 answers. Then another one for Menti using the same code. Aside from word cloud, there is also a survey using bars. And so the question goes, if you were to travel today, which continent would you find yourself in? So we already have an answer in Antarctica. We already have in Asia. We have 2 answers in Antarctica. We have Europe. So as you can see, no, in our screen, this is also a live polling wherein answers keep coming in from our participants, no? South America. No one wants to go to North America? Wala. So that's how our polling works, no? So if in case that you will do reporting and you would like to ask, no? Or perhaps the teacher wants to ask the consensus of everyone without knowing the names, no? Or by doing it anonymously, then you can make use of Menti. Okay? So thank you for those who answered. So let me stop sharing this first. Now back to my slides, no? So back to my slides. Now we will do live quizzes. So these quizzes are what you can make use of now, especially in your classes, or if you are doing reporting as students and you want to make your report interactive with your classmates, you know, then you can make use of these two leading quizzes. Although we have other quizzes, no, but you can. These are the top two that are being used right now, and so we will try it, diba? So that we will have the feels, no, of what to expect in our incoming na school year. Okay, so all right, so okay, lahi ang nakita day. That one, okay. So class, I want you to, if you have extra devices or if you are, just make use of what you have right now, no? Please go to kahoot.it, no? Or if you have, actually, this is also available in Play Store, no? They already have a standalone application for this. But you can still make use of your desktop, laptop. But please go to kahoot.it and then you will be asked again for a PIN. And so please type in what you see on the screen. That's 503-9199. Again, once again, go to kahoot.it. No? So we already have participants like Eljona, Aya, and Cutie. So our first quiz for today is about information technology, about IT. No? So atong mga teachers, Miss Joy, Sir Paul, Sir Evan, Sir Toots, nantaw na nato kinsa mga maayo ang students, no, in terms of information technology terms dinhi may balaan prior to our classes. No? Sige. Do we have other participants? We can wait for 1 minute for them to come in. So we have Whoopi, Tony, Rake, Heaven, Eljona. Anyone else would like to participate? Sige, let's give it a minute. So this is our IT quiz bowl, no, for today. Mga concepts and terms about information technology. We now have tech, we have BSIT Sakalam. So once again, you have to open your browser, no? And then go to kahoot.it. The one you see on the top of your screen, no? That's kahoot.it, or you can download immediately if you can ang Kahoot nga app in Play Store, in iOS. Then you will be asked for a PIN. That's 503-9199. So we have students coming in. All right. Last 20 seconds. So this is the rule of the quiz class, no? There will be a question that will be displayed on the screen, and then there will also be choices in your device, no? And so you will choose the correct or the best answer by tapping the correct option on your device. Okay? So once again, I hope the instruction is clear. There will be a set of questions that will be displayed on our screen as I start this game. And then you have to choose the correct or the best choice in your device. Okay? So ang prize, si Miss Joy na ang muhatag siguro. Care of Miss Joy ang prize. Or Sir Toots. Okay, I think we are ready. Wala na ilayan. We have 18 participants who are joining. So, ang mga teachers, dili na pwede mo join ha. Kay the same questions na. Last onboarding. Nanay Codigo. Alright, so we have 19. 20. Alright, sige, 21. I think that is okay na, no? We also have Beb. We now have 22 joiners, 22 players. Okay, so let us begin. So once again, the instruction is simple. There will be a set. There will be 5 set of questions, and then that will be displayed on your screen. And then there are also choices wherein you have to tap on your device. Okay, so let us begin. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and start. Quiz. Onel de Guzman, the creator of I Love You Worm or Love Bug, presented Love Bug as his thesis as a student in which school? So you have 20 seconds to answer, 12 seconds. So which one is the correct one? Which school? Time's up. So we have 4 correct answers. No, it is AMA. No, not BiPSU, not NU, but AMA. All right. So leading right now is Angel with 900 points, 912 points, followed by 150 and then Eljona. All right. Next question: true or false? 10101 means 21 in a binary number system. Sige, pag-convert na mo. Is it 21? You just have to answer true or false. We now have 9 answers, 14 answers. All right, so we have 9 correct answers with the correct answer as true. 10101 means 21. All right, so Angel is still leading with 1631 points, followed by Eljona and then Heaven on the 3rd spot. All right, ready for question number 3? Another quiz. He is the current CEO of Google, and that's his picture. Who is this person who is the current CEO of Google? 8 seconds. All right, so the correct answer is Sundar Pichai, and we have 5 people who answered it correctly. All right, so si Eljona, naungusan na si Angel. So leading our spot right now is Eljona. Okay, next, 4th question. Second to the last question. This institution is renowned to have a speed of 91 GB per second to support its operation. Which institution is that? 10 seconds. All right, the answer is NASA. And you got it correctly. Seriously? Ni-answer pag-ibig? The same number of those who answered NASA. So the answer is NASA. Okay? So, Eljona is still leading and si Angel, bumabawi na si Angel, now at second. Okay, and si Whoopi skyrocketed to the third spot. Okay, final question on the next one. This is a double points because this is a hard question. These are logos of Ubuntu, the one you see on your screen. Is it true or is it false? These are logos of Ubuntu. 10 seconds. All right. So most of you got it incorrectly because those are actually not logos of Ubuntu. Okay, those are logos of Red Hat Linux. So at third spot, we have Whoopi. At second spot, we have Eljona. And at first spot, we have the winner is Angel. So congratulations, Angel. Si Sir Evan na bahala sa imong prize sa school year to come. So congrats. So that's how we play Kahoot. Now, next one. So next one is quizzes. Another another quiz, no? Although we can differentiate quizzes and Kahoot. So I want you to go to please go to joinmyquiz.com, no? Sa inyong browser. It's not available, it's not an application. No? Joinmyquiz.com and enter the code 741787. Once again, please enter 741787 so that we can start our quiz. So we now have Rake joining. We have NRX, Crush. Oh, we have AJ Rabal here today, di ay? Napod si Aljur. Anyone else? Maybe 20 seconds to wait for your for us to wait for you. Is Angel already here, our leading Kahoot? We now have Santino. So we have 15 participants. Anyone else? Ten seconds. We now have 19 participants. I think earlier we had 23 or 24. So we have Eljona. So we have here our players, our brave players. Okay, I think this is good. Good to go. Sige, so we shall start. Napay nag-apas. May humahabol. Okay, so I think we can start. That ends our quiz. So that ends our quiz and our perfect scorer. Our highest is Rake, no, with 5 correct answers, followed by Santino with 4, and then the third one is Cutie with 4. So as you can, if we differentiate it, no, with our Kahoot, in quizzes you are on your own pace as compared to Kahoot, no, na very synchronous. So you are on your own pace, and then um, the faster you finish, the more points you get, no? So si Rake, so very good in geography. Kaya naka-answer. So congratulations to our top 3. We have Rake, Santino, and Cutie. So I hope you can differentiate, no, how we play between Kahoot and quizzes. These are the top 2 mostly used online quiz games, no, for your online classes that you can make use perhaps sa inyong reporting. Okay. All right. So we also have another team interactive button, which is what we call as crowd buzzer. So class, I want you to go to ccg.buzz. ccg.buzz. Okay, in your browser. Yeah, I think we can have this since it's already 12. No, we can have this as our last game. No? So that we can finish. Okay. So please go to crowd buzzer or ccg.buzz. That's ccg.buzz. And then you will be asked for game code. So please key in ZNDF, no? ZNDF for the game code. the one that you see here on the upper left hand of the screen. And then you have to join, no? And then you will be asked for your player name and team name. So for your player name, you can make use of your team name. I mean you can make use of your nickname, and for your team name, please put na lang your course, no, or your program. Say for example, BSCS or BSIT, BSIS. So the code is ZNDF. So I have put it in our chat, no? You go to ccg.buzz and the code that you have to input is ZNDF. And then you will be asked for your team name, and then buzz the join button so that you will be part of the list, no? So we now have Gigi, Tony, Raki, we have Heaven, we have Cutie, no? So that we can start our game. Allow me to fix my slides first. This will be our last game na lang, no? So that we can proceed because it's already lunchtime. While you are logging in, allow me to fix my slides. All right. Sige. We now have a lot of participants. We have more than 20. So this is the rule of the game, no? Our quiz for today is movies and series. So for those who are good in Netflix and chill, then you will answer well. And then you can see, no, on your buzzers, it has turned into gray. So once it is ready, you can buzz. If you know the answer, you can buzz and you can unmute or perhaps chat it in our chat panel so that you will receive a point for your team. All right? So let us begin. So I will turn it on, no? So your buttons or your buzzers turned red. It means that once you press it, you will be the first one to answer, just like what Kaneki did and Apocalypses, no? But once the question is already there, okay? I hope that is clear. Testing lang, testing. So reset. First question. In the series Alice in Borderland, the character of Alice is a girl. True or false? All right. Our first to buzz is AJ Raval. AJ, you may want to unmute or answer in our chat panel. AJ Raval, are you there? So si Ellen Joyce de no, ang gagamit sa codename na AJ Raval, okay? Your answer na true is wrong. Because the correct answer is false. Alice is actually Arisu in Alice in Borderland. All right, so no point. And let me reset your buzzer. Next question. Kani, very trending today. In which Korean series can you find this doll? The one you see on the screen. Let me move that one. Okay. Who is this doll? Buzzer on. All right. Heaven is the first one to answer. So yes, Heaven, what is your answer? Squid Game. Okay. Sige, no? Some are already answering through our chat panel. So you would already know the answer. But nevertheless, sige, let's skip this quiz for now, but that's how you can make use of our buzzer, no? Nga, if you want your class na paunanay for a certain quiz perhaps, or maybe recitation, then you can make use of this buzzer from Crowd Buzzer. All right? So let's do away with our game as we are maximizing our time. No? And then for randomizers, we have wheel of names. So say, for example, we have to pick who goes first in our recitation or who goes first in our reporting. You can go to wheelofnames.com. You can customize the list of names. Then you can also go to random.org. No? It will also allow you to do some draw lots, no, for a list of names. Then Google also has its own random number generator. You just have to go or type in the Google search bar random number generator, and say for example you have a grouping and there is a certain number for a group, then it can generate randomly a number, no? It will pick a number for, say for example, who goes first, no, or who goes next. So that's how you can make use of randomizers. Then for those who are not yet keen on using photo editing applications like Illustrator or Photoshop, we have drag and drop applications through Canva. Then you can also do some layouts in Trello, or you can make charts in Pick2Chart that can help you with your visual aids, no? You can go to these sites. Then for interactive playbook or ebook, say for example, you want to give handouts for your classmates wherein they can answer after, then you can try to install a standalone application known as Kotobi, although this is very heavy, no? So I won't try it lang here. Then if you also have a reporting and you want to dictate, no, a certain speech of your text, then we have a text to speech application. You just have to go to labc.com. You can make use of this. Then if you want to go streaming, no, you can make use of these applications. We have Open Broadcaster Software, StreamYard, and Streamlabs. Zoom also have a streaming application, no, for Facebook and YouTube. You can make use of them. I also have an in-depth discussion of these streaming applications. Then you might want to go to my channel once again. Then for recording, we have Bandicam, Audacity, Screencast-O-Matic. And we have, if you are using Windows OS, we have a built-in application, which is, you just have to run Windows plus G. You can actually record or screen record what you have there in your desktops. Lastly, I will go over this quickly. Online class netiquette, the 10 commandments for students. Thou shalt think before thy speaking and typing, because your classmates are good at recording and screen grabbing or screenshotting, and what you speak or what you type might be taken against you, no? So it is good unta, no, to record, because you can have a hold of your class discussions, but Remember that now anything can be recorded and documented easily. So you must always think before you speak, before you type, no? Because it's easy to grasp your content. Next, thou shall learn RA 10173, 10175, and RA 293. These are part and parcel in our privacy, no, in cybercrimes, in making use of electronic devices, and in copyrights, no. Although we have special privilege for education or for academic purposes for copyrights, but you might not know you will be already infringing copyrights or you're already violating our laws. So quickly, these are the contents of RA 10173 and 10175. This involves another separate session, no? Like negligence in access, unauthorized access, so fraud, misuse of device. So these are covered under Philippine laws. Next, thou shalt participate actively in classes. Please do not fall asleep. Your teachers are doing efforts, no, to discuss your lessons, and we have a lot of videos making rounds in the internet of students falling asleep. So please do not do that, no. Also, thou shalt be in a quiet environment in as much as possible. No, we have your neighborhood's roosters or dogs barking. So if possible, if you have a noise cancellation headset, then you can make use of such. But if not, then try to find a place that is conducive for learning. Next, thou shalt mute your microphone when not talking and unmute when you have to. So say, for example, you're doing your online recitation. If you do not want others to hear what is happening in the background, so please always mute. That is the standard. And then unmute if you're asked to do so. Next, thou shalt not be part of any form of cyberbullying. This is self-explanatory. There are a lot of issues making rounds in the internet right now about online classes and about students cyberbullying their fellow classmates. So that is really irresponsible for you, no, as students. So please refrain from such, because that is also covered by our laws. Thou shalt check devices conducive for learning in as much as possible. Although, of course, no, we understand that we are financially challenged, but if possible lang naman, then make and if you are given the chance or the opportunity to have devices with you or to buy devices with you, then check the ones that are really conducive for online learning. Then thou shalt dress properly, use appropriate body or facial language, and enunciate words properly, just like in a traditional classroom setting, no, wherein you have to be prim and proper. And you must double your effort in online classes as well, because that will reflect you as students. No? Ninth, thou shalt be considerate of teachers' challenges and understand uncontrollable circumstances. Not all of your teachers are IT graduates or have IT backgrounds. Some of your minor subject teachers are not really tech, so expect that there will be glitches, there will be mishaps. So please understand, no, we are in the pandemic. So please understand the situation. And finally, thou shalt remember that the teachers do not make your grades. You as students make your own grades. All right, so they are not the ones making your grades. Your performance, how you participate in classes, that's what make your grades. All right, so always remember that. And with that, it is around 12:20. I will end my presentation, and I would like to, for those who want to know more about our tools, I have uploaded them in my channel, so you can check on that. So back to you, Miss Joy. Sorry, my apologies for extending a little.
Thank you so much, Sir Domen. And no worries po, kasi as we can see, the students are enjoying, they're participating to the games. And yes, it's already lunch, but it was worth the talk that we have this morning. And we can thank you enough, Sir Domen. And we hope again to have more engagements with you very soon. And so, let us now proceed to the awarding of certificate. By the way, to just to announce the winners yesterday, we will be giving the prize this afternoon. Nagpa-in-cash pa po si Sir Robert so that he can distribute the prize. Okay, so yes, um, awarding of certificate, which citation reads, certificate of recognition is given to Joshua Eleazar Doman for his shared expertise as resource speaker on techniques and etiquettes in online learning, applications, tools for online learning during the Dayon sa STCS and onboarding program for first semester school year 2021 to 2022, given the 7th day of October 2021 via Zoom at BiPSU Naval Campus, Naval Biliran, signed by University President Victor C. Canyazo Jr. Once again, thank you, Sir Doman, for that interesting talk.
Thank you,
God
Miss
bless you
Joy,
po and
and
keep safe. Guys, mag-photo ops muna tayo. So will you please turn on your camera? Sir Reynold, Sir Kira, Sir John Raymond Calderon, Sir Titoy, Ma'am Ellen Joy. So I have here with me Sir Sanchanias and Sir Robert. So guys, turn on your camera. Hi Sir Paul, Matthew. Hi Ma'am Husto. Pa-turn on na lang ng camera. Wow, perfect.
sumunod na yung mga students nato, Miss Joy.
Yes po,
Sir.
sir.
Incoming.
Yeah, freshman. Ang mga responsive, participative kayo. Okay, in 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay. So, okay, there you go. Again, for the prizes yesterday. But Sir Domen, thank you so much po, sir, ha?
Thank you everyone. Thank you, Miss Joy. And until next
You're
time.
welcome, sir. Next time ulit. So again, before we proceed to the last part of the program, ang prizes nato kagahapon sa atong games is hatag na ni Sir Robert later this afternoon. So you kindly reach out to him na lang para mahatag siya via GCash. Okay, and so to have for the closing remarks, let us all hear it from our BSCS chairperson, Dr. Reynold Bustillo.
Okay. My respect to everyone, to our ever dynamic university president, Dr. Victor C. Canyazo, and to our BPs, equally active, Dr. Rosini B. Romero, BP for Administration and Finance. Also to Dr. Susan S. Bintor, BP for Academics, and Dr. Erwin Salvatierra, BP for Students and External Affairs, and also to Dr. Marian Agneste Mendoza, BP for Research, Innovation, and Extension Services. My gratitude to our vibrant STCS Dean, to Dr. Chona Bisabinay, guiding the school towards our desired accomplishment and gearing towards excellence. And to our equally valued and dashing chairpersons for BSIS, Ma'am Cheryl Ibajo, and for BSIT, Dr. Jolie Lopez. This too keeps the STCS afloat of the glimpse of achievements in general, building their program assignments to accomplish the target program outcomes by exhibiting camaraderie, brotherhood, and sisterhood among peers. First and foremost, I have thoroughly enjoyed this morning discussion about SOGIE, sex orientation, gender identity, and expression by one of the PCW God expert. My humble appreciation to Mr. Alvin Cloyd Dakis. Thank you, sir, for sharing your time with us. And also thank you to Sir Joshua Eleazar Dumin from the ICT IT officer for the topic techniques and netiquettes in online learning application, tools for online learning. It is indeed exceptional and interesting to learn new things about in general. By learning and enjoying in the midst of pandemic, this pandemic is not the end. Rather, as teacher and students, we are always moving forward toward greatness. We, the STCS family, we are much grateful for choosing STCS. And those who remained with us, we will make your stay favored with honest service and dedication towards excellence. Dayon sa STCS, our beloved STCS students. Let me also take this opportunity to acknowledge the great efforts extended, because without these individuals, this activity most likely will not be a success. To the following brilliant minds of STCS, to Engineer Paul Matthew Bentor for creating an awesome teaser video and also for hosting this online event, to Sir Robert Logronio for facilitating this wonderful event, to Sir Ferdinand Quiros and Ma'am Christine Sarsalejo for a splendid introduction of our source speaker, to Sir Tito Amerigo Custodio for layouting and designing our stunning program, and of course to our beautiful and lovely MC, Ma'am Joy Mendoza, for piloting this event. Also to our STCS faculty for the steadfast support in this activity. I have learned great deals and have been left with much to think about. Thank you for that. Thank you, Ma'am and Sir. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up, and most certain way to succeed is only to try just one more time. With that, I conclude our activity for this day. Once again, thank you for joining and participating.
Thank you so much, Sir Bastilio. And yes, of course, before we end this program, we would also like to thank our the team from the technical team for making the program. So we have Sir Paul Matthew Bentor. Thank you so much, sir. We have Sir Titoy for making the program for the certificates. We have Sir Kiros and of course Sir Robert. And yes, the last but definitely not the least, Ma'am Chona, our dean, for being so hands-on in making this event, in making this program a success. Thank you so much, everyone. To our dear students for being very responsive and participative. Welcome to your new journey. Welcome to STCS. Welcome to BiPSU. Welcome to BiPSU Dayon sa STCS. There you go. So yes, attendance link will be available later in the chat box. So here's the attendance link. So that's it. If you have questions and clarifications, you may message directly your class advisors. Thank you so much, everyone. God bless you all.